You have picked an adventure for
Hike and bike a 69 sparkler, 8-hole hecking months with the most hecking gorgeous streamer, and we've almost made a Twitch baby.
Hi, everyone. Super unfortunate timing. My dinner just got here. We have a video queued up for the Chandler Halderson trial. I'm gonna just go ahead and play that and be muted and stuff and eat. Thank you, Hax. I appreciate it. I'm feeling kind of grody. Thank you. That was really nice of you. And then also, I want to talk about stuff when I get back. But for now, I'm just going to play you some of that trial footage since that is not against the rules of Twitch. While I eat, I will be done within like 10 or 15 minutes. I'll scarf this, I swear. So it's, yeah, if you just hang tight for like a second, let me get that going. I'll be with you shortly.
Attorney Dahl, if you would, please.
Chandler Halderson did not murder his parents. He is not guilty of those crimes.
I wasn't planning on losing my appetite. I forgot that it was
Chandler
the defense.
Halderson is 23 years old, young man. He likes to play video games, play with his dogs, hang out with his girlfriend, and he lived peacefully in his parents' home. He was just a normal kid. He is a normal kid. So what did happen? What happened to the Haldersons? What happened in that Halderson's home? Remember those questions. They won't be answered at the end of this trial. Remember those questions at the end of this trial when you have to decide whether the state has proven to you
I hope that's
that
good,
Chandler
the sound.
Halderson killed his parents, because they simply don't know what happened. They just told you what they think happened. We heard a lot of detail.
Thank you for the
of
resub.
the before.
I promise I'll be
and
here
a
soon,
lot
I
of
promise.
detail of the after. But one or two simple sentences, and then he killed his parents. The evidence will show you that there is a gap of evidence when it comes to that time frame. And your job is to listen to this evidence as jurors. Listen to the evidence from the perspective of a juror, not from the perspective of a story corroborator, corroborating the state's story. The role of being a juror is a different role than being a person. And that may sound strange, but it is. I think of when I went to law school way back in 1991, and there's a big part of me that feels I went into law school a human being who lived my life feeling things emotionally and relating to things emotionally. And I left law school a really different person. I learned how to be very logical, to apply facts, first to assemble facts, and then to apply these facts to the law as I learned it. Facts, laws, and rules, plus logic. That's your role here as a juror. Don't assume anything. Assumption is the mother of all mistakes. The story that you just heard assumes that Chandler Halderson killed his parents. You cannot assume anything. Your job is to presume that Chandler Halderson is innocent because he today is under the benefit of the presumption of innocence. An assumption is reaching a conclusion without knowing all the information. A presumption is a principle that we all must follow. We must presume him innocent, and we must keep that presumption unless and until the state proves every element of every charge beyond a reasonable doubt. That's not easy. It's not easy in a high-profile case. It's not easy in a case where we all know we're going to see evidence that is disturbing. But you must find a way, like I did in law school, to put your emotions, put your feelings aside, and use the logical part of who you are. Be a juror. Assemble the facts, know the law, and apply the logic without letting your feelings or emotions get in the way. And for each of you, you might have a different way of doing that. But I'm asking you here today to dig deep and find out how that will work for you so that you can presume my client innocent. Now, I'm not going to have a fancy PowerPoint here, and I'm probably not even going to talk very much longer. But as I comment to you on the evidence that you're going to see in this case, I want to highlight a couple of things. First of all, and the judge already indicated this in some of the preliminary instructions, lack of evidence is evidence just as much as any evidence that is presented to you in the courtroom. Look for what's missing. Look for alternate explanations. Because the second thing I want to tell you is that evidence of one thing is not necessarily evidence of another thing. One fact here could mean a different fact here, but it also could mean 3 or 4 other facts. So you have to avoid jumping to conclusions and really dig deep and look at what this all means. You're going to notice that many of the facts, many of the witnesses, aren't going to be hotly contested by the defense in this case. And that goes back to what I was just saying. 12, 18, 100 reasonable people can look at a certain situation and form a different conclusion. And when you're talking about a system where you need to be convinced beyond a reasonable doubt, you better make very sure that you're excluding all of the other things that these facts could mean. Because you just aren't going to know what happened. You're going to know some about the before. You're going to know some about the after. But you're not going to know what happened in the Haldersons' home, who did it, what happened, how it went down, whether it was intentional or not, which is an element of homicide. You're just not going to know. You're also going to not know how Bart and Krista would have reacted to these lies. That's never going to be explained to you. Why lying turns into murder, or how lying turns into murder. Be sure to look for what you're not told, because that's evidence just as much as any evidence is. I'm going to ask you to resist some things in this case as jurors. We already talked a little bit about proof beyond a reasonable doubt. What that means is you must resist guessing. You must resist speculation. You must resist storytelling. And only convict when it's proven, or if it's proven, which it won't be, beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm going to ask you to resist losing your objectivity. Objectivity may be hard for people in this case because of the graphic nature of what you've just been told or what you're going to see. But you need to resist losing that objectivity. Commit to being jurors, dispassionate, logical. Don't be swayed by fear. And I ask you to resist any pressure you might feel to convict Mr. Halderson of murder in this case. It's a little unorthodox, but I'm going to tell you, at the end of this case, Attorney Vera and I may stand before you here and say, you know what? They did convict him of this, but what evidence do you have of murder? I like to talk about
wow, this lady is
Constitution,
awful,
probably 'cause
hey?
I'm a defense lawyer. But I think as jurors, as people coming into the system who aren't dealing with this every day, like we are here in the courtroom, you have to remember how important the Constitution is, how important the presumption of innocence is for Mr. Halderson, and how important proof beyond a reasonable doubt is. It's the highest standard we have. And it was created and perseveres to this day for this very reason. When someone is on trial for the most serious crime possible, and every little thing they do, every little lie they might
Every
have
little
told
thing you do is magic.
is blown
Everything
up
you
and
do just
thrown
turns me
against
on.
someone.
Sorry, I had
That's
to be
when
done.
proof beyond a reasonable doubt matters.
You think she's doing an okay job? Okay, hold on. Quinn, okay,
You
hold on.
jurors, not the shit.
All right. Hear me out. She said, I'm going to need you to fight against your instincts to find my guy innocent. And she keeps saying, yeah, he's guilty, but not of murder. Even though there's like a lot of evidence that he's pretty guilty of the murder, such as him being found by the bodies. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I think she's doing pretty bad. I think she's doing pretty bad. Excuse me, golly, I cannot stop fucking burping. He's guilty of murder. That's very funny. Are you guys into here? Whatever. I'll turn it on. I know I'm gonna say we can leave my face cam off, but everybody's gonna be like, no, turn it back on. Everybody just likes to look at a face, hey? Excuse me. Good golly. Okay. Let's just the fact that like she started with I'm going to need you to suspend disbelief to find my guy innocent. That is just a terrible defense.
Sheriff's Department, not Mr. Brown or Ms. Raymond or me or the judge get to decide this case. Individually, you all get a vote. You all get to make your own decision. I simply ask.
Yeah, she's doing an okay job insofar as
you find a way
having to fucking defend this piece of shit, dude.
That you look for the key questions, the key facts that aren't answered, and that you hold the government.
Oh, hi, Stinky. How are you? I hope you're well. It's good to see you.
If you do those things, if you can resist these things, you will reach the right conclusion.
What?
Chandler Halderson did not murder.
Excuse me. Yeah, being a public defense lawyer
At this point in time, we have to do a slight
we all
bit
know
of
he doesn't have a
housekeeping.
job to hire a real
distribute
lawyer.
the notebooks to you so that you can use those to the extent you wish as you're listening to evidence and testimony. And then we'll get the podium moved and the state will call its first witness.
Oh, well, she's going after the prosecution, which, like, it was all very damning. Is this current? Not, I mean, like, it's more current than a lot of the stuff that we've covered, but I'm pretty sure that dude's in jail.
Manager at channel3000.com. We are just kind of waiting for them to start the next part of the process, I should say.
Agrees, Barry.
This trial, where the prosecution will start to lay out their case in long form.
Quinn.
We
I
already
agree.
heard
I agree with both
opening
of you.
statements earlier this morning, kind of the prosecutors giving bits and pieces about what they're going to hope to prove over the next few weeks here. We also just heard right now the defense's opening statements, much shorter, it should be noted, compared to the prosecutors. The prosecutors went for more than an hour, sort of going step by step what they're hoping to prove. The defense, probably only about 10 or 15 minutes, if that, very much stressing in their statement that a lot of what the prosecution has said already hasn't been proven yet.
I don't really want to listen to
Also,
this guy talk about this
emphasis
stuff.
on
Hi,
the
broker.
presumption
Thank
of
you so
innocence
much. I
before
appreciate you.
Broker
assuming guilt
007
or
Sparkler.
anything like that, and very much also hammering home the point of beyond a reasonable doubt. Their
All right,
argument
I'm
here
gonna fast
is that,
forward this. I don't want to listen to
you know,
news
the
guy.
prosecutors
Oh,
laid
well.
out a lot of what they say happened before and after Bart
We'll
and
do
Chris
it
Halderson were
this
killed,
way.
but they didn't get into much detail about what happened to cause their death. And their point on the defense team being basically that there's little evidence to prove that Chandler is the one that killed Bart and Chris Halderson. So we will see.
There's a
where
lot
the
of
prosecution
evidence
goes
to
from here. Right now, we're
prove
just gonna take a
that,
little
like
break to,
him
hand out some
having
notes
their
and everything, and we are
phones
gonna actually go right
and
back
the
to,
text messages
the
being
trial.
sent
Stand by
from
one
their
second.
home, and like him being found in a location where the bodies were located. There's a lot of evidence. Like, it's not a picture
and so I covered
of
the
the
northeast
guy
area of the
killing
county.
the guys.
And I'd like to
but
draw your attention to around
evidence.
11:25 a.m. that morning. What occurred at that time?
I had just returned back to the precinct from a previous call, and as I was walking through the doors to the precinct, I noticed behind me it appeared that somebody had been coming up to the doors. So I met them at the door, and at that time had a conversation with an individual.
Yeah, those are good
And do you see
points.
that individual in the
Sleep
courtroom today?
Ninja. And
I do.
At this point, for purposes of identification, I would ask anyone not inside the jury box or
I'm
my
sure that he
co-reporter
lied
just lower their
terribly to
mask
her
briefly
also.
for the count of 3,
I'm sure he
so
didn't
that the
ever
full face
speak
of
a word
everyone
of the
in
truth
view,
to that
is
fucking
available.
lawyer.
1, 2, 3. Go
Yeah,
ahead
the
and
human
replace masks.
skull
Thank you.
found in the fireplace. I forgot about that.
You
Do-
can answer.
I, for,
Oh,
I
go ahead.
Do you see
completely
that
forgot about
individual in the courtroom
very
today?
grisly
I do.
part.
Could you please identify him by where he is seated and perhaps the color of his shirt?
Looks like a purple shirt seated on the left side of the table, straight ahead over here.
And I'd like to note for the record, the witness did make a hand gesture towards the defendant as well. I'd like to note for the record that the witness has identified Mr. Halderson.
It will.
What did you learn
like,
from
and
Mr.
thank you.
Halderson on
Hello, Experiment
July
Nix.
7th,
How are
2021?
you? It's good to see you.
When he came to the precinct and spoke to me, he said that he wanted to make a missing persons report.
Okay, and what did he tell you?
He told me that he wanted to report that his parents were missing. I asked who his parents were. He said Bart and Krista Halderson. And I asked where they lived, and he said they lived on Oak Spring Circles, which is in the Village of Windsor.
Okay. And in fact, that street's a little bit odd. Like one side of the street is Windsor and one side of the
Everyone
street is
having
DeForest, I
skull in the
believe.
fireplace. Yeah, but it's
the
not my
portion
parents.
that they reside in was the Village of Windsor.
Okay. So in
Oh, that's so
reaction to
grisly.
the information the defendant was telling you, what did you do?
Zombie broccoli.
When I heard that they lived in the Village of
This is
Windsor,
the
we
Chandler
have a Windsor
Halderson
contract
case, if
deputy
you wanna
that was
do a
working,
quick
so I immediately
read.
called,
I'm
to
sure
see
that you
whether or
can
not they
find
were
a
available to
really
come up to take the
good,
missing persons
succinct
report.
summary because it's a very
Okay.
high profile.
Were they
case.
available?
They
A
were.
kid killed his
And who is
parents
that?
because he couldn't
Deputy
stop
Josh
lying
Seeley.
to them
Okay.
about having
What
good
did you do
job
next?
opportunities, but really he
So
wasn't
I
neat.
remained at the
essentially.
precinct in our day room area with
I'm hanging in there,
Chandler
Nick.
Halderson
Thank you
until
for
Deputy
asking.
Seeley
I have a
arrived.
headache
And at that
really
point,
bad,
Deputy
so
Seeley
it might be a
began
short
interviewing
stream
him
tonight.
in the day room. I was present during that portion of the interview.
And how would you describe the defendant's affect, his demeanor?
He seemed quiet, what I would describe as maybe like lethargic. Seemed like maybe he was tired as he was describing the fact that he had not seen his parents since the previous week. It just seemed like he was slow to respond to some of the questions.
Okay. And do you remember any of the specifics of what Mr. Halderson told you during that interview?
He had said that his parents had gone up to their cabin, which
Say
I believe
McDonald's,
was
and
in
I'm
White Lake,
not
Wisconsin.
feeling great about it.
That they had left the
I
previous
feel
week.
pretty icky.
He thought early Friday morning, and that he had not seen his parents since then, and that at this point he wanted to report them as a missing persons.
Did he give you any details about who, if anyone, they were with?
He had said that they had left with another couple, but he did not know who the couple was and had not seen the couple, just that they had left sometime early, what he believed to be early Friday morning.
Okay. Did he give you any information about what, if any, vehicle they were in?
He said that they had left in the other person's vehicle because
know,
both the
Sleep Ninja.
vehicles that belonged to his family were still at the residence. But I did not have a description of the other vehicle.
Okay. What did you do
This is the defense?
after
Okay.
this interview?
So after he was interviewed by Deputy Seeley, we determined that probably the best course of action was for us to go back to the residence to kind of check out the residence. So I told Deputy Seeley that I would accompany him back to the residence for that.
Yeah, same, Sleep Ninja. Well, he was just doing his job, so I don't like hold it against him as a guy, but I'm not
How would you
stoked
describe
that
his
that
number one?
is what's going on.
This would
here.
be the residence that
has
we
any
went back to
unadulterated,
that we were told by
court
Chandler
footage,
was his
by all
home along
means,
with
let
his
me know.
parents.
The Oak Spring address in Windsor, Dane County, Wisconsin?
Correct.
And does this appear to be a true, does Exhibit 1 appear to be a true and accurate picture of the home?
Yes.
Okay, we're getting to the end of this skein of yarn.
Any objection?
I'm gonna pull the
It is
next
received, it
one.
may be
I
published.
actually have to pull both of them to color match to see which one I can get to this color quicker. Since this is an ombre yarn.
What did you do once you were there?
So myself and Deputy
Golly, I
Seeley
hope
had gone
this
into the
works.
residence, and at this point, Deputy Seeley was planning on continuing his interviews
Oh
with
shit,
him.
this one right away
With Chandler.
matches.
And
That's so sick. Okay.
I did ask Chandler
job
if
done.
we could just walk through the residence
Job
real
done.
quick. I asked where his parents' bedroom was, and so we went from the main floor. When you walk into the residence, you step into the entry area, and then there's a living room and a kitchen. There's a flight of steps that go down to like a basement, and then a flight of steps that go up to what I would consider to be the second level of the residence. And so he took me upstairs to the second level. We walked through his parents' bedroom so that I could take a look around. And basically, my portion inside the residence of just kind of walking around was the upper level and the main level, which would be the living room, kitchen, and dining room.
In walking around the two upper levels, did anything seem off or obvious of a crime at that point?
Of a crime, no.
Okay. How would you describe the furniture?
What day are they talking about?
The
The day that you
furniture
reported
itself
everything,
was
right?
set
So we
like
had
you would normally
plenty
think
of time to clean
you know,
everything
couch
up.
and some other seats. But I did notice
Also,
that
do we
they were
know
covered
where
with
he killed his parents? I think
linen
only
or
he
blankets.
knows that.
And were they covered while you were there or before you even entered the home?
They were covered before I entered the home.
And Deputy, this might seem like an odd question, but at any point did you request Chandler Halderson to cover the furniture to prevent the spread of dog hair?
No.
And going back just to briefly describe the house, this house would maybe in some circles be described as a tri-level.
Yes.
Okay, so there's 4 levels to the home, but the home's only 2 stories high because they kind of offset each other. Is that a fair description?
Correct.
Okay. After just observing the home, what did you do next in your portion of the investigation?
So we started asking him whether or not there were any other persons that lived at the house. He said it was just him and his parents. I asked if he had any siblings. He
I
told me
think
he
that's
had a
the
brother
absolute
named
correct
Mitchell.
answer.
So I was able to get Mitchell's contact information, and my plan was to start doing some secondary interviews to determine if anybody had seen Bart or Krista Halderson.
So you go interviewing the brother Mitchell and
Okay,
other
hold on, I'm gonna
people
pause
in the
it.
circle.
Correct.
Okay.
I think that it's going to be a really shitty grab at trying to prove whether or not the place had recently been cleaned, like within the past weekend, since the parents had gone missing, whether or not the house had been cleaned since then.
During the course of this investigation, did you have any other direct contact with Mr. Halderson?
Halderson is a Chandler.
As in Chandler, I'm sorry, the defendant.
I was pretty much in his presence most of that afternoon and evening.
Okay. During the course of that afternoon and evening, did you observe Mr. Halderson using a vape pen at all?
Yes.
Vape Nash.
At some point, did this
Get this one on the
investigation get turned
anti-vaping
over
commercials.
to detectives, and your role kind of you moved on to other cases?
We did contact our ISB, which is our detective division, as we felt that there was enough information now that there might be a reason to get detectives involved. So they were contacted that day. As far as getting involved in other cases, I pretty much stayed on this case all that day and all the next day.
You have to stop. He's an innocent man. To be fair, he is innocent
Nothing
until
further.
proven guilty.
Cross-examination.
Yes, thank you. Deputy Nelson, you walked through the house, correct?
Yes.
You walked upstairs,
I walked upstairs to the top floor.
downstairs,
No. Well, it depends. Downstairs being,
that second level that you were talking about.
so That day that I was there, the only floors I went to when you walk in would be what would be the living room, the kitchen, dining room, and then up to the second floor, which would be the bedrooms and I believe a laundry room and bathroom.
Okay.
I think
But at
the
some
dude's
point, you did
lawyer
become
did it.
familiar with the whole house
At some point that day, or it
throughout the
Came
course
over
of
and
this
just
investigation.
started
Yes.
throwing out hot takes.
And they were
died
doing, they being
of
the Haldersons, were
audacity
doing
poisoning.
renovations in that house, correct?
yes.
No further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect?
Nothing further.
May this deputy be excused
The state has no problem with that.
and released from any subpoena further?
No objection from the state.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, sir. Have a good rest of your day.
The state calls Joshua Seeley.
Spoiler alert, he got convicted, so we don't have to call him innocent anymore. Right. I'm just reminding everybody in chat that at this point in time, when this is airing, he is still innocent. He is innocent until proven guilty. And that is something that I genuinely treasure about America. They take that seriously. Whether or not the media does is a completely different thing, but that's a really important
Deputy,
part
good morning.
of
If
being
you are able to
American.
responsibly and safely testify without a mask, that would be my preference if you would. Thank you so much. Go right ahead.
Good morning. Please state and spell your name for us.
Josh Seeley, Seeley.
Why?
And what do you do for a living, sir?
Deputy Sheriff at the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been doing that?
I have been a deputy for 20 years.
It's one of the
This
only
past
things,
July,
not
you
one of
worked
the
with the Sheriff's
only
Office,
things.
correct?
It's a
Correct.
thing that
Any particular role?
I genuinely value.
Currently, I
that.
perform
I
full-time
don't
patrol
love
duties
a
for
lot
the Village
of
of Windsor.
Tell me about that.
things
Village of
about
Windsor.
America,
First,
but
let's
that's
start.
something that I think was
I
the
don't know where
best
everybody's from. Where's
fucking
the Village of
idea
Windsor?
they ever had.
Just north of Madison and just south of Village of DeForest.
And they don't have their own police department,
They do not.
and so they have a contract with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
Correct.
What kind of things do you do as the guy who's assigned to be essentially their police officer?
Same thing most other police agencies would do. We provide daily patrol, call taking, other community services, blood drives.
I do not feel
such
bad
stuff
for
of that nature.
anybody that gifts a
Where is your home
murder
base when you're over
weapon
there? Do you have like a
to a
precinct you work out
person.
of, or how's that work?
I will
So
never
we
feel
actually-
bad
There's two facilities up in the
for
northeast
somebody
area.
who
We have
thinks that a
Dane
gun
County
is an
Sheriff's Office
appropriate
Northeast
gift.
Precinct,
If that
and then we have
gun
our
is then
own
used for
PD, which
the
is
thing
located
that
right
guns
in the
are
heart of the
designed
Village of
for.
Windsor.
I'm
I'm
never
gonna
going to
take you
feel
over
bad
to
about that.
July
I feel like
7th,
you do it to yourself.
2021. That day, were you asked to respond over to the Northeast Precinct for someone referencing a missing persons complaint?
I did, yes.
Another deputy asked
Yeah.
you to come over.
Yep, I heard a radio call from Deputy Nelson stating that there was someone at the Northeast Precinct, what we would call a walk-in, and wanted to report a missing persons. So I responded up to the Northeast Precinct to make contact.
Are walk-ins common at the Northeast Precinct?
Not typically, no. Most people call.
This person didn't call.
They did not.
Okay. You went over there,
I did.
and tell me what you found when you got to the Northeast Precinct.
So I walked into the Northeast Precinct, or what we would call the day room. It's where we have our desks and computers. And sitting at the table was a male who I later identified with Wisconsin driver's license as Chandler Halderson, and Deputy Nelson of the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
At this point, we're going to do an interesting procedure where everyone that's not in the jury is going to remove their mask for a second, and the judge is going to count to 3.
If everyone would do so, please. 1, 2.
I mean, there are plenty of
3.
gun owners who
Right.
don't murder people.
Do you see the person here in
sure.
the courtroom who you
I'm
identified
still
in
never
the
going to
driver's
feel
license
bad
as Mr. Halderson, Chandler
for
Halderson
somebody
that
who
day?
gifts
I
a
do.
Tell me
gun
where he's sitting and what he's wearing.
He's sitting over at the desk to my right.
when that
with a
gun is
black
then
tie.
used
I'd ask the record reflect
to
identification.
kill a thing.
What'd you do?
Because that's what guns are for.
Asked him more or less what was
And
going on.
People are
and he
things that
proceeded
can
to
be
tell me that
killed,
he had not had
and
contact with his
you
parents,
do it to yourself.
that they had gone up
if
to
you
their
gift
cabin,
somebody
which is up
a
north in
murder
Langley County.
tool. I don't care
and he
how
was
you feel
concerned.
about guns.
Did he give,
Like-
give you any details at that time at the Northeast Precinct about who
That's
they
a
were with?
risk that you're taking when
he
you
stated that
get
he had
somebody
left,
a gun that they
their
might
residence, which is the
murder
Village of Windsor,
somebody
and had left with friends,
with
and that they
that
had gone up to this
machine that was
cabin to
designed
work on a fire pit and a water pump
expressly
that might
for
have been damaged during a storm.
murdering.
Did he tell you
That's
at
its
that time
only
at the Northeast
function.
Precinct what car they were in, or if he knew what car
Is
they
to
were in?
murder.
Not mention anything
You
about
know?
a car, and he provided some names of people that he might have gone up there or that they have gone up there with, but he was not for sure who they had gone with.
I agree,
After you take
Terry. I
this
agree
initial
with that.
statement
I
at the
agree with
Northeast
that.
Precinct, what do you do?
But
Initially,
it's still
we
important to
released
like
Chandler from the Northeast Precinct, had a conversation
keep
with
that
Deputy Nelson, at which
in-
point then we drove down to
I'm
the
high
residence.
now.
down
You have
on
to give me
Oak
like
Springs in the
15
Village
minutes
of
and I'll be
Windsor,
less
where
high.
we
I'm
again
so
made
sorry.
contact with Chandler,
Is that here in Dane County, Wisconsin?
and that's in
Stassi
Dane
gives
County.
a scarf to someone and they
The-
strangle a busload of nuns with
What
it.
was the purpose in going to the house?
But a scarf has more than just
Just to get a better overall picture
strangling.
of the whole situation,
that's interesting. I guess it's just because
some
guns
follow-up
aren't
questions
really
with Chandler.
common here,
just,
so it's kind of wild for me to think you can just
try and
buy
nail
a
down
gun
as
very
to,
easily
you know,
somewhere. Yeah, I don't
why
think that you should be
he
able
felt
to
his
buy
parents
guns
were missing.
easily anywhere.
You probably know this
I don't
neighborhood as
think-
good as anyone,
I
being
think
assigned
that
there, but
humans
just
would
tell
be
us about
better
that
off
general
without
area they live.
guns.
What's it like?
All of them. Everybody would be
It's
better off
very
without
well
guns.
kept, very quiet. It's a two-way street, and it is actually the type of street that has a tree growing
I'm
out
not
of the middle
saying
of it.
individually. I'm saying
that's so
if
that the
guns
two lanes
just
have to go out and
disappeared
around the street.
altogether. That's what I'm saying.
And the Halderson home is on the middle of the block. I know
It's in the middle of the block on the north side of the road. Yep.
In general, the Halderson home is one of many homes in that area that's on a pond that's behind the house, correct?
Correct.
When you get to the house, did you go right in or did you stay outside and talk for a while?
We just briefly made contact with Chandler outside, at which point we were invited inside. And then we continued our conversation and interview inside the residence.
Sure. Where'd you go in the house?
Okay,
when you
hashtag
first went in?
ACAB. But
Immediately, just like in
this
your-
guy seems
your
like he's
standard
very
entryway,
fun to be on your
open up to the
team
living
at
room and dining room area.
Frocker or something during
At
barbecues.
which point,
he
he
just
asked
seems
us
like
if
a friendly
we
guy. I
wanted
just get
to
friendly
look around the
vibes
house.
from this dude.
At which point I said yes. I believe the first place he took me was upstairs. Went up the stairway, pointed out some bedrooms and another room that was off to the left.
Yeah,
Which
Sperry,
was
I agree
under
with that.
construction or renovation. So
I-
it was down to the studs and
pause really
insulation. There's
quick.
nothing else in there except
So
some
the, like-
laundry machines.
The one thing that I have to say about that is it really influences the way that the media talks about that person, whether they are found guilty or innocent, hey? And I feel like most of us, we find out about these high-profile cases through the media, and we can only look at it from the lens of the media. And I do want to have, like, a very healthy perspective on media bias and, like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a little bit high, so it's hard for me to get this out elegantly. Does crocheting hurt your hand after a while? No. Not me, anyway. Sometimes I'll need to stretch because they'll get, like, tired, but not, like, painful. Yeah, whatever. I was saying some things. I'm sure it made enough sense. Sorry. I don't remember where I was. I'm a fucker.
Where'd you go next in the house?
After that, we went back down to the main living area, at which point
Sorry.
he went
I'm sorry.
partially downstairs. I did not go downstairs, but he did point out a set of couches that had been pushed together. And he stated that he had been sleeping down there because it was closer to a bathroom that was downstairs.
Let's talk about that for a second. The room in which the couches were pushed together, was that the room with the fireplace in it? One of the fireplaces?
I believe so, yes.
And you said they
Yeah,
were pushed
very,
together.
ugh.
What do you mean by that, if you could describe it better?
So if you think of your
Have fun,
average
Hackmat.
couch and how it looks, take another couch and push it up against it so it looks just like a square or a box. And that's what he was using as a bed, supposedly.
And he told you that that was needed because it was close to the bathroom?
Correct.
Did Chandler tell you why it was important that he be close to the bathroom?
Just that the room that was upstairs and under construction was the other bathroom, and there was no functioning plumbing up there at that point, I guess.
Were you talking to Mr. Halderson around this time and kind of interviewing him further as he was showing you around the house?
I did. At one point, he did hold up a neck brace and said that was another reason why he had been downstairs.
Yeesh, Lawrence,
But
that
again,
sounds
started to ask him again about why he
terribly
felt that his parents
dramatic.
were missing. And he stated that he had attempted multiple
phone calls to try and get a hold of them, and the phone had gone straight to voicemail.
Did you at some point attempt to call Bart and Krista Halderson using the numbers that Chandler was able to provide you?
I did. And again, my phone calls went right to voicemail as I tried to contact their phones.
All of these folks that you said Chandler gave a few names of people potentially that he thought his parents might be with, friends and things of that sort, were those people contacted ultimately?
He was able to provide me with one phone number for the names that he provided me. And from that point on, we were able to get additional contact info for those people, so we started reaching out to them. I also asked about employment information for the two subjects, at which point he provided those. So again, we started reaching out to employers, all in attempts to try and get in contact with them.
At this point, maybe
Everything's annoying.
you'd call this kind of your standard missing person stuff.
Pretty standard, yeah.
Were any of those conversations with potential people that the Haldersons might be with fruitful? Meaning, did you learn that they were with any of those people?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You can answer.
From the contacts that were had while I was there, no one had
Audio
contact with.
artifacting that is happening
subjects.
is
When you were in the Halderson home,
Destroying my
did he
earballs.
walk you down into the actual basement of the house?
I personally did not go into the basement, no.
Did Chandler make any comments to you about things his parents may have packed before going to the cabin?
He did. He stated that they had grabbed several bottles of liquor. He said the norm that they might take a bottle or two, which would include a bottle of wine. He then went on to tell me that his father had grabbed a large sum of cash, about $4,000, and this was also unusual, saying that they would only usually take
Sure,
a couple hundred,
Jan.
and that
Sure,
maybe they were
Chandler.
going to a casino at this point.
By the way.
Did he give you any
How are
time of
you?
when he
It's good
thought
to
his
see
parents
you.
had left?
He was very specific and stated that they had left at 6 a.m., which I believe was on July 2nd.
6 a.m. on the Friday.
On Friday, yes.
Okay. Did he say that he saw them leave?
That's what's happening.
He did not.
And at any point in your contact with Mr. Halderson, either at the precinct or at the home, was he actually wearing that neck brace that he showed you?
He was not wearing the neck brace, no.
What was his demeanor like as he was making these reports to you? How was he acting?
He seemed very matter of fact, just
Hey, the same, by the way.
as you would be telling someone about your day. To me, there was no sense of urgency.
Hi, Bumble
Did
Kitty
he
Store.
cry at
How are
any
you
point or anything
doing?
like
I
that?
know that you had an
He did
eventful
not.
day yesterday,
One
and it
second,
sounds like one today, too.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Deputy Seeley, had you ever met Chandler Halderson before?
Not that I can recall, no.
That's all, thank you.
Any redirect? No. May this witness be excused from further testifying and his subpoena?
Yes.
Any objection?
No objection.
Thank you so much, Deputy. Have a good rest of your day.
I feel like as a cop, it might be hard sometimes to leave that courtroom and go back to work instead of stay and like see what happened.
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
It's both sides, so it's two different sheets.
What is that whispering? What was that?
Deputy, I would ask if you believe you can do so safely and responsibly that you testify without a mask.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Attorney Raymond.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record, spelling both your first and last names?
Deputy Haley Collins Lefevre, Hayley Collins -LA, capital FEVRE.
How are you employed?
I'm employed as a deputy sheriff with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
Bumble Kitty
And were you employed as
Store.
such on July 7th, 2021?
Yes, I was.
More.
And when did you first become involved in the Halderson case, the missing person case of Bart and Krista Halderson?
I had received some communication with my
Hello,
partner, Deputy
Ariana is
Seeley,
hilarious.
prior to the
Welcome.
start of my shift.
on
Ariana
July
is
7th,
hilarious.
stating
Thank
that
you
he
so much for
requested that
follow.
I respond to
You
the
know that
Halderson
feeling
home shortly
that you
after
get
checking on.
when you've just been kind of stressed and then finally you get to have a hit of cannabis. That's the feeling that I just got from you following my channel. Thank you so much. Oh no, I forgot to unpause it.
And that's how I became
Hell yeah, Ariana. Thank you
informed
so much.
and notified
That's
of the
so
call.
nice of you.
And about what time was that? Do you remember?
Shortly after 1 p.m.
And do you in fact go to the home?
I did go to the residence.
Right, Kudo.
And
Cute.
on the Elmo, there's Exhibit 1. Was that the home that you went to, the Oak Springs address?
Yes, it is.
What did you do once you got to the house?
I met Deputy Seeley outside on the front porch, and he just briefly summarized for me the information that he had already gathered.
Okay, then what did you do?
Deputy Seeley took a phone call, and then at
Ooh,
that point I went inside the home.
I love
and,
making hats. I love crocheting in the round.
was introduced to Chandler.
Okay. And the judge is going to ask everybody who's not a juror to remove their mask for 3 seconds.
If they would, please, for the count of 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Do you recognize anyone in the courtroom as Chandler Halderson?
I do.
Okay. Could you please identify him by where he's seated and the color of his shirt?
He is seated at the defense table wearing a light purple shirt.
And did you end up talking with Mr. Halderson?
I did.
Okay. What, if anything, did Mr. Halderson tell you about his parents being missing?
Well, I was a little hesitant to ask a lot of follow-up questions because I knew Deputy Seeley had already asked him a lot. But in the small talk that we had had, it began with me asking if his parents had had any medical issues.
Okay, and what did you learn?
He told me that his dad, his psoriasis had recently flared up and that he also needed stronger reading glasses. In regards to his mom, he said that the week prior, she had been diagnosed with skin cancer.
Okay. What did the defendant tell you next?
He had said, in regards to the skin cancer, I'd asked about how did his mom take that? What was her demeanor? And he said that she was very nonchalant about that diagnosis, that it had been, she had known about this for about 15 years, but the actual diagnosis had been just the week prior.
Why did you ask about those medical conditions?
Just to determine if for their safety, if we should be doing a bit more on our end from the law enforcement standpoint. In addition to the skin cancer, he had mentioned that she had had a mini stroke a few years prior. And as a result, she had brain lesions, which now that she was experiencing frequent headaches and some forgetfulness and also a change in her speech. So we were also possibly concerned of a medical issue with Mrs. Halderson.
Sure. What did you do next?
Continued to speak with him, asked a variety of questions, again, just small talk and, you know, again, not trying to maybe ask the same questions that Deputy Seeley had done, but continued small talk with Chandler.
At some point, does he talk to you about what his parents took to the cabin?
He did. He told me that he had helped his parents pack on Thursday, July 1st, and that they had packed their own bags for clothing, but he had helped them, had helped his mom pack her medication, and had also packed for them some tools, also food, phone chargers, and then tools. And when I asked him specifically what tools he had helped pack for them, he said they were all for cabin repairs, and they included a wrench, a hatchet, a bow saw, some additional saw blades, as well as 2 10-gallon containers for gasoline.
Okay. Did he talk to you about any cash or valuables that were packed?
He did. He told me that he was aware that his parents had taken a large sum of cash out of a safe. He did not disclose to me any sort of estimate as to the amount of cash, but that there was a large sum of cash taken from a safe that they took with them, and also a larger than normal amount of alcohol that they took also.
Did he elaborate on the need for the cash or the alcohol or anything else to the best of your recollection?
In regards to the cash, no, he did not know why they would have taken that much. As far as the alcohol, he assumed that given his mom's recent cancer diagnosis, that maybe she was a bit more stressed and overwhelmed, and that has led to more alcoholic drinking by his mom.
Who, if anyone, did Chandler Halderson say picked up his parents?
He claimed that he did not know the couple that picked them up. He said, and I asked a variety of ways multiple times, trying to determine if we could figure out who these people were. And he claimed that he had also asked his parents on Thursday the 1st who these friends were that he was going with, and
Some of these questions are dumb as fuck.
they were not direct with him and never told him the friends that they were going up to the cabin with.
Did Chandler Halderson give you any information about the time his parents supposedly left to go to the cabin?
He did. He told me that he woke up at 6:15 a.m. on Friday the 2nd, and his parents were not home. So he told me that his estimated time frame that was of when they left was somewhere between 4 a.m. and 6:15 a.m.
Thank you so much for following
When
my
I asked
channel.
him,
you know that feeling that you get when you have an itch in the back of your throat and you're like, oh no, I was about to say something, and then your body acts faster than your brain can, and you talk and it relieves the itch? That's the feeling that I just got from you following my channel. Thank you so much for being my convenient words. To be fair, if I got told I had cancer, I'd drink more too. That is true.
why he felt that was the time frame. He again
Bumble.
reiterated that he had woken up at 6:15 and they weren't there, and that any time before 4 a.m. didn't seem like
you
a
tried
realistic time frame
restarting
that
your
his
phone?
parents would have gotten up to leave for the cabin.
I've had to restart. I have the
What
newest.
other sorts of information were you trying to learn at that point in time in talking with Chandler?
I don't remember. What is it? that I
Again,
get?
just trying to.
Galaxy?
It seemed
I don't
odd
know.
that there were a
The,
lot
like,
of
S21
details given
plus, the newest fucking one.
for other things in regards to
and I
medical
have to
history
restart it
and what
all
he'd
the
helped
time.
them pack, but in
It's
regards to them
crazy.
actually physically leaving and who they were with, there were not as many details, which seemed a bit unusual.
At any point did you inquire as to what Bart and Krista
Nobody
Halderson
makes
typically
screens
wore
like
as far as
Samsung.
clothing?
I did. Again, if we
And
were
why did you ask for that information?
if we were trying to
no,
potentially,
fun.
of course, in a situation like this, our minds are kind of going all over the place and trying to think of all the possibilities and things that could have happened. So as a way for us to maybe more easily identify them or be able to pass information along to maybe other agencies or other resources to try and help them, wanted to be able to provide as much information as possible. And so I did ask if they are known to wear certain types of clothing on a fairly regular basis. And he said that his mom generally wears long sleeve shirts and baseball hats and would be wearing light blue Brooks brand shoes. And that his dad was likely wearing cargo shorts, also Brooks brand shoes, and t-shirts that generally have some sort of graphic or like a beer logo or something on them.
Were they described as cheesy dad joke t-shirts?
Yes, they were. Yes.
So you walked around the home. What, if anything, did you observe?
So it's a tri-level home where you walk in and it's the main level with the living room, dining area, and a kitchen. And there were blankets or canvas like over some of the furniture in the living room.
Leaving her legs
Dining
all
room
over the
table, lots
place.
of mail and things on the table. And the kitchen didn't seem to be anything overly glaring that would have.
Let's talk about that table. You said there was mail and things on it. Were there any like notes or instructions or anything that seemed to have been laid out?
Yes, Chandler had told me that he had a doctor's.
Objection. I think the officer is going to lead into something that's going to call for hearsay.
I don't know if I know enough about the question to rule.
I may have jumped the gun a little too much, but we'll get
Let me
there.
go ahead and have the question restated or stated as you asked it.
Sure. What did you observe on the dining room table?
I observed several insurance cards that Chandler claimed were left out by his mom because he was going to be having, or had a couple days prior had told me that he had had a doctor's appointment, and so his mom left the insurance cards out for him. There was also a note that he claimed was written by his mom
I had
saying,
McDonald's for
objection,
dinner,
hearsay.
Dee.
As to the content of the
Fries
note,
and a burger.
point we approach.
Good. It tasted good. I regret eating it now. I feel really icky. I think the officer might be about to say something that's hearsay. Yeah, that was a very interesting objection. Honey, we can't object on premonitions. You're not wrong. Like, this is such a bummer that, like, we have to sit here not hearing what's going on. Also, by the way, why is this happening? Is this happening because of that? I was just paying more attention to chat, honestly. It did not taste like you remember. Man, I can go literally like a year without eating it and then eat it and it's still delicious and amazing. But it definitely changes the way that I feel after it. What was written on this letter? I don't know what you mean. I'm so sorry. Approach the bench so they cut the audio. Gotcha. I wonder how long this is going to go on for. Oh, I was just getting ready to go fast forward it. We're gonna have
Sure,
an
I
ad
believe,
break
Deputy,
here
I was
pretty
asking
soon.
you concerning a note that you observed on the dining room table.
yes.
And just very briefly, what were the contents of that note and what did Mr. Halderson tell you about the note, if anything?
The note stated something to the effect of, I hope you have a great day. And then it left a phone number for Pam. And it said, just in case on the note. And Chandler told me that that was a note left by his mom for him.
In connection to their visit to the cabin?
Yes.
Deputy, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 35.
Mm-hmm.
Could you please identify Exhibit 35?
Exhibit 35 is the note that I saw on the kitchen table. And based on Chandler's telling, this was his mom's note to him stating that hope your day goes really well, with a phone number for Pam saying just in case.
And it's in one of these fancy evidence bags. Is that fair, Exhibit 35?
Yes.
So that means it was collected by your department.
Yes.
So does this appear to be the actual note that you observed on the dining room table?
It appears it is, yes.
I move Exhibit 35 into evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
And permission to publish.
You may publish.
So there's this nice big sticker.
Sorry, I have to do a thing really quick, chat.
You can open that later, but I was hoping not to do it now. Roughly does the note say, good morning, Chandler. Hope your day goes really well. Pam, and a phone number, and just in case, and a heart, and just signed you.
Yes.
Did Mr. Halderson give you any context of this note? Why would a 23-year-old, did you have any information as to why a 23-year-old was being left a neighbor's number?
Yes.
Objection. Speculation. Speculation. And
I'm sorry, still
foundation. Sorry, speculation and foundation.
I can lay some foundation. That's fine.
Very good.
Deputy, did Chandler Halderson explain why this note was left to you?
Yes, he did.
Tell us, what was that reason?
He stated that a few weeks prior to our contact with him on the 7th, he had fallen down the stairs in the home and had hit the front and back of his head, which resulted in a concussion, and he said also a small hemorrhage in his brain. His mom was very concerned about leaving him alone for the weekend with no one else at the home to kind of care for him or make sure that he was okay. So he told me that this note was left with Pam's phone number to have for him to call Pam if he needed anything while they were gone over the weekend.
That was kind of a lot of information. I'm going to unpack it just a little bit. So Chandler Halderson told you he fell down the stairs a few weeks prior to you meeting him.
Yes, he did.
And he said he hit both the front and the back of his head during that fall.
Yes.
And therefore suffered a concussion.
That's what he told me.
And a hemorrhage.
Have the memory
Correct.
for all this? Yeah, I have
Did
no
he
idea, man.
tell you any other side effects?
At least the
or
jurors are
medical
given,
issues as a result of this fall?
Recall that he said he was having headaches and some tingling
like
in his
note-keeping
legs.
paper and stuff?
And that's the context in which he said his mother, or the reason his mother left Exhibit 35 in anticipation of the weekend.
Yes.
Did he tell you anything about any upcoming doctor's appointments or doctor's appointments that were scheduled to have occurred?
For himself, I believe it was for Monday the 5th. He had said he had a doctor's appointment scheduled. And then his mom also had an appointment on July 7th, which was also cause for concern for him because he claimed then she has now missed the appointment because she had not returned home.
Hi. Or hi, it's just me,
During
thanks.
the course of your investigation,
It's hard
did
to know
Mr.
which is
Halderson, present any proof or any evidence that he had been contacted by his parents since July 1st?
How are you? Welcome. Everybody make sure that
Yes,
just
he had shown me
feels welcome.
a text message on his phone that he stated was from his mom. And he'd received that shortly after 11 a.m. on July 4th. And it stated something to the effect of, we made it, we're going to a parade, and we will be home late Monday or early Tuesday.
And of course, you're meeting on a Wednesday.
Correct.
Mr. Halderson. At some point during the course of your part of the investigation, do you have Mr. Halderson fill out missing person certifications?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe what those are?
Yes, so in law enforcement, we have this form that we fill
it
out
might-
for a missing persons
Y'all,
report,
it
and
might be
there's
Tom.
some criteria
You
that
might
need to
have
be
Forrest
met.
Gump in the chat.
It can consist of someone who is physically or mentally disabled, someone under the age of 21 who we feel is in physical, they're in harm's way,
Tinfoil Tom! Yeah,
someone who
we
has
were
been
talking about
abducted
you
or
not very
kidnapped,
long
things
ago.
like that. And
Thank you so much for the
Mr.
follow, bud.
Halderson,
Good to see you. How are you?
was the one
Thank you
filling
for
out the
pointing
form,
Dad feels
stating that
this
he
way.
was
That was a
wanting to
very
list his
emotional
parents
moment
as
for
missing,
me. Thank you
and
so
it met
much.
criteria 6, which
Let's
is that the person is
go.
over the age of 21 and they don't meet
Everybody
any of the
go follow
above
Tinfoil
criteria,
Tom.
but there is reason to
Everybody
believe that
go
their
do
safety
it.
is in jeopardy.
Deputy, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 2. There's a front and a back, so I would ask that you observe both the front and back side.
Yes.
How would you describe Exhibit 2?
Exhibit 2 are the original copies of the missing persons
You're
forms,
also
both
crocheting?
filled
Hell
out
yeah,
for
what are you
Mr.
making?
Halderson and Mrs. Halderson. I completed or I signed the
Bardic
form
News,
as the witness for
a
Mr.
scarf,
Halderson,
Basketweave stitch.
and the form is signed
Her
by
name is Dottie.
Detective Sims for
And what
Krista
kind of animal
Halderson,
is
and it's in a
she?
sealed evidence bag.
And did Chandler Halderson sign either or both of the forms of Exhibit 2?
He signed both forms.
I would move Exhibit 2 into evidence at this time.
Third
Yeah,
queen
objection.
size chevron blanket. Holy
is received.
moly.
So just
I've never
briefly,
done
because I
anything
don't
that
expect you
big.
to memorize.
Not a queen size blanket.
On the date that they were reported missing, how old was Bart?
Dog. Oh,
Mark is
Dottie,
50
who's
years
a good
old.
girl.
And how old
Dottie.
was Krista?
Good girl.
53 years old.
Oh, who's got your belly? This is the part where you rub her belly. Who's got your belly, Dottie? Oh, I love you. Good girl, Dottie. I like your dog. A mandala blanket. Oh my God, that's so brave. That's so much work. I don't know if I'll ever reach mandala blanket levels. You'd love a pattern for this? Just search the Basketweave. Just search Basketweave crochet. It's so easy. It's so easy.
The first form is
She enjoyed good.
Bart Halderson,
Yes.
and the signature
I'm happy
on
to hear
is for
that.
Chandler Halderson, dated July 7th of 2021.
Yes.
And then the second form is for a Krista Halderson,
Yes.
and again, signed and dated by Chandler Halderson on July 7th of 2021.
Yes.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Sorry, I had to look at stuff again. She's a little sweetie, still super energetic despite her age. Aw.
No questions, thank you.
May this witness be
I love a
excused and
pupper.
released from her subpoena.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you so much, Deputy. Have a good remainder of your day.
God, all these people are just terrible at whispering, hey? I think that, oh my God, Lawrence, that's so nice. I was just getting ready to do an
Gunlover
ad break,
91
but we'll wait a
Sparkler.
little
Lawrence
bit.
Delano gifted a T1 sub to Gunlover 91.
All right,
Thank
very
you
good.
so much. That's so nice of you to do that.
Brian, show.
I appreciate you very
Ashy
much.
Cat Sparkler. Lawrence Delano gifted a T1 sub to Ashy Cat.
You guys have been so amazing to me lately.
Darla Rosa Sparkler. Lawrence Delano gifted a T1 sub to Darla Rosa.
Judge, can you switch it just to see if our computer
Can you switch to
Hugged
that
in.
computer will work?
That darn Batman Sparkler. Lawrence Delano gifted a T1 sub to that darn Batman.
You're going to the shelter on Friday to go get a pet? That's so exciting. Hey, Inno, how's it going?
Lonely Hipster.
You know, you should,
345
look at
Sparkler.
Discord.
Lawrence Delano gifted a T1 sub to Lonely Hipster 345.
We had a mod meeting today. Mandalas weren't as intimidating as I thought it would be. Mostly simple stitches, and they sometimes go into a few rows below the one you are working in. It's scary to me. Okay, you know.
Is it
All
okay?
right. Good.
Yeah.
Good
Oh,
shit.
all right.
If you can turn it on the left, is it on the left side? HDMI?
That's looking better.
All right, I think we're in
Okay.
business.
Detective, thank you. You already removed your mask, and obviously, as I understand it, you may be visiting the witness stand more than once, so if you're willing and able to each time, that would be appreciated. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Could you please state
I
and spell your
wonder
name for the record?
if there is a
My name
reason
is
for that, or
Brian
if this
Schunk,
judge is just actually like an
Last name is
anti-masker.
S-H-U-N-K.
We do have a
And you're one
Discord.
of
It's
the
just
case detectives in this case, aren't you?
Correct.
discord.gg/fart
How long have you been a
slide.
detective with the Dane County Sheriff's
Like
Department?
I've been
one of our
with the department
emotes is
for
called the fart
approximately
slide.
13 years. I've been a detective for 2.
And who are you joined by
It's
as
spelled
a co-lead
exactly the
detective in this
same way.
case?
Detective Sabrina Sims.
You're the first detective to testify, and so you get the honor. But tell us what the difference, I suppose, in the work of a detective is from the work of just a normal sheriff's deputy who we've heard from so far.
Sure. Detectives are typically assigned more follow-up to initial reports. We basically read all the reports for every case. We'll develop leads and then exhaust
absolutely.
those
Post
leads,
the link.
whether to approve or disprove a crime occurred or whether a suspect, like I said, is proved or disproved to be the offender. As far as major cases go, kind of the same thing. Just keep on reading all the reports, developing leads, and following up on everything.
In some cases, you might be
That's
the
fair
only
enough.
person
Some
working on
people
an
with their
investigation
voices,
as a
I
detective,
literally
correct?
have to look
Correct.
at their
That was not
lips
the case
to
here,
know
was
what
it?
they're
It was not.
saying. Like,
Many
I
people
have to
worked on this.
be
Many
able
people.
to see their lips.
Let's talk
Just
at
'cause
first,
my
just generally, about
ears
missing
suck
persons.
so bad.
You've investigated missing persons before, haven't you?
Yes.
That's something a police officer or a sheriff's deputy does normally.
Yes.
Fair to say you treat missing adults different than you do missing children.
There's similarities, but yes.
Adults, in many respects, if they want, can go missing, and there won't be a ton of police involvement as long as they're not at risk, right?
Correct.
Where if a kid goes missing, sometimes they hit that Amber Alert button and they wake us all up at night.
Yes.
Okay. They don't do that for adults, really.
No.
When you're entering into a missing persons investigation involving adults, what kind of things are you doing? And not speaking specifically about this case, but in general, what are you doing as a detective in a missing persons investigation?
First thing, whoever the reporting party is, we want to talk to them
No,
and just see
Kitty,
what
that's
background
okay.
information
That's what
they
we have a
as
Discord
far as
for.
the days leading up to when they were last seen or heard from. We'll go back through and make contacts with any of the people that would have been in last contact, such as coworkers, employers, friends, family, and just basically develop a list of leads of who we can talk to, where they were last seen. We'll talk to banks, figure out if they've been spending any money.
We're in the
The list
middle of
goes on.
trying to like
Were you
revitalize the
asked to perform
Discord.
some
So
of that work,
anybody that wants
on
to
July
join,
7th,
that would make me so
2021
happy.
regarding
I've
the
been
missing persons of
hanging
Krista
out in
and
there
Bart
the past
Halderson
couple
in
days.
Windsor?
Yes.
And it's been
How
really
early
fun
did you
just
get involved
chit-chatting
in the
with
investigation?
everybody.
I think we heard that Chandler went into the sheriff's department about 11:30 that day. When were you first kind of involved?
I believe I was called around 1:30 p.m. and was at the Halderson home speaking with Chandler by 4:30.
So now we've heard from 3 people already. You're the 4th person to speak to Chandler that day?
I believe so.
Tell me where you speak to Chandler in the Halderson home. Where do you go?
So when I spoke with Chandler, we were sitting at the dining room table.
And what did he tell you?
Chandler told me much of the same as what we've already heard. His parents had gone missing after reportedly going to the cabin. Chandler said that he had helped them pack for the cabin on the evening of July 1st. He woke up at approximately 6:15 a.m. on July 2nd, the Friday, and they were already gone. He told me that he believed his parents were leaving with a couple of friends. He did not know who the friends were.
Did he tell you anything they took with them to the cabin?
Yes, Chandler told me that he had helped his parents pack tools, wrenches, pipe sealant, a hatchet, and 2 gas cans for the chainsaw. He also later told us that there was a bin in the garage for the cabin that they would take every time, and that bin was no longer in the garage, so they had taken that also.
Did Chandler mention if he had heard from his mom or his dad since July 1st? So he's talking to you on the 7th. Had he heard from him in that intervening period at all by text message or phone?
Yes, Chandler told me that he received a text message on Sunday, July 4th from his mother.
He showed it to you? Did
Yes.
he show you that message?
Yes, he did.
I'm showing you what's been marked in this case as exhibit number 3. It's 2 pages. Could you tell me what that is?
These are screenshots that Chandler had shown me that evening and then sent me.
And who are these communications purportedly with?
Chandler reported that those are his mother and him.
I'd move to admit exhibit 3 and publish it.
Any objection?
No.
It is received, and it may be published.
Oh, good night, Kitty.
Showing everyone exhibit 3 up on some of the photos, by the way. We're going to do this to make it easier to see. This machine over here doesn't work very well. In these messages, there are 2 colors, and the messages are on 2 sides. But fair to say that messages purportedly from mom are on the
Jesus
left.
Christ.
and
Less money to the police,
from
more
Chandler
money
on
to
the
the
right.
courts.
Correct.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Mom says, hope things are going well for you, thinking about you. And Chandler says, going well, thanks. She sends a smiley face. And then Chandler says, Dad's phone died, call or text me, and get soda on your way home. I have an extra hour of work. And she says, Kay, I can. All that sound right?
Yes.
And then we get up to Saturday, which would be July 3rd, 2021. Appears if Chandler sent a message to his mother, hoping this goes through. I bet there's a lot of people up there making it hard to message, correct?
Yes.
And then I'm going to move
Shit,
to the
I
next
forgot
screen
my
because the
knife.
next message goes over both.
Whatever. This is fine.
We're
This is
starting
sewed
in the
in
middle.
definitely more than enough.
Krista
So I
reportedly
can just cut
responds,
it
made it safely,
short.
can't get anything through, and yes, it's packed. Going to White Lake today for the parade, will be home Monday night, Tuesday early, love you lots, 2 exclamation points.
More money
Sound
to
about right?
send towards, yeah, fair enough.
Correct.
And that was sent at
I don't have to think
11:04
about the judge in the
11:04 a.m.
Roadhouse
on
case.
Sunday,
I
the
didn't
4th of
watch
July.
it because I knew
Yes.
it would make me very, very
And then lastly,
upset.
Chandler texted his parents, texted his mom that day that he went to the police station. Hey, I'm worried. I'm at the police station. Can you text or call?
Yes.
These were the messages that you found on Chandler's phone?
Correct. He showed me.
Okay. You had an opportunity both then and at many, perhaps, occasions in this case to observe the Halderson home and be in the Halderson home and view it and tour it, correct?
Yes, Chandler showed us around the home July 7th.
Throughout the course of the investigation, you've seen inside and outside the home,
Yes.
and you've been in every room in the home.
Yes.
You're aware perhaps thousands of photographs were taken of the home in the last 6-7 months, correct?
Yes,
Several thousand.
It's just me, thanks.
I'm
Yes,
going to show
that's
you
exactly
not
what happened.
several
and then
thousand, but I am going
the
to show
lies
you
caught up to him
exhibits
and he
4
killed and
through
dismembered his
25.
parents.
And if you
Left
could just
their
briefly
limbs and torsos all
page
about.
through those, and the question is going to be, are those photos of the inside and the outside of the Halderson home? But we'll have you look through them first. So let me know when you're done.
Yes, those are all photos of the Halderson residence.
And move exhibits 4 through 25.
Any objection?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, I think this is a good spot for a break here. I've just been like sitting.
They may be published.
I'm pausing it. I'm pausing it, and we're having a break. Everybody hang tight. Oh my fucking god. Hi guys, I'm really sorry about the extra time it took. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, I started to have a little bit of anxiety there because of the headache. So I had to go get water and get my pill, stuff like that. I took some lorazepam. I should be fine. I'm probably going to be quiet for a little bit until it kicks in. I'm really sorry. I'll still be here though, and I'm going to try to power through it. Because it's not like a full-blown anxiety attack. It's just like, I don't know. If you have anxiety, you get what I'm saying right now. It's like pre-anxiety, where anxiety is imminent. It's like, it's anxiety junior. Yeah, sorry. It's so fucking annoying. Don't apologize for that, Dusty. Yeah. Okay, I'm having anxiety, so suck on that. Suck on my anxiety wiener, everyone. No, I'm just kidding. You're being very kind, J-Rod. Thank you for understanding. I appreciate you. Okay, here we go. Hello, Mothman's cousin. You are a very welcome addition here. Please tell us everything about him. We do creepy stuff on this channel, so like I'm psyched to see you. Everybody make sure that Mothman's cousin feels welcome. Thank you, Mothman. Thank you. I appreciate you. Inspired by Rogue from X-Men, because duh, of course. Okay, here we go. Are you guys ready for me to unpause? If anxiety was a wiener, it would just be fucking everyone. You're not wrong, dude. Ugh. You are not wrong. Okay, can I just see 3 readies in chat before I unpause here, please? It's anxiety shockwaves, like you know the full-blown anxiety T-Rex is about to bite your ass. Yeah, 100%. I just couldn't tell if you were on or not. It said we'll be back, but heard voice. Yep, it's me. Yep, we're here. Okay, excellent. We've got some readies. Good to see you all, by the way. Those of you that are just joining us. And
Been
thank
talking a
you
lot
for
about
everybody
this
letting me
house,
know
and
you
so I'm
were
going to
in.
ask you to kind of give us a tour as we go through some of this so everyone can put some context to what we're looking
And again,
at.
apologies if I'm a little
what are
bit
we looking
quiet
at
for
there?
a little bit here.
That is the north side or the back side of the Halderson home.
Backyard, essentially.
Backyard.
Exhibit 5, what are we looking at there?
This is the pond located behind their home, taken from their backyard.
Exhibit number 6.
Same pond behind the home.
Exhibit 7.
This is going to be the garage door,
What
and
is
then
that?
also another
Tobacco.
entry door into the home. Goes into
Actually,
like a
no,
little
I
foyer.
definitely put a stamp on cannabis well
if you
before
take a
I
sharp
put a
left,
stamp
left,
on
it goes to the
tobacco.
garage.
Also, thank you so much for the
So there's an
follow,
entry
Mothman's
right
cousin.
there, and then
Really
there's
quickly,
another
I
maybe
just want
traditional
to
front door in the front of the
pause
house.
it for a second. You know that feeling that you get when you go somewhere with your really popular friend and you're like, everybody's going to be so excited to see popular friend. They're not even going to realize that I'm here. But then everybody's really excited to see you. That's the feeling that I just got from you following my channel. So thank you so much for being my warm welcome.
Correct.
Exhibit number 8. What are we looking at there?
This is
Anyway,
going
yeah,
to
it
be
was
what I would
cannabis.
call main living room of the home.
And this is a
taken
Basketweave
as if you had
stitch
just walked in the
scarf.
front door of the home. You can see the kitchen to the left and the dining room.
We're
to
on
the
skein. We just
right
started skein 2
or
of
center.
3 of this bad boy.
Furniture there with some sheets on it, right?
Correct.
Did you ask Chandler to put those sheets on the furniture?
I did not. They were covered when we arrived.
Showing you Exhibit 9. What am I looking at there?
That's going to be the dining room table, and then the kitchen to the left.
When we talked earlier about that note from Ms. Sidwell, was that note found on that table?
Correct. It was on the table. I guess the upper left corner of the table is where it was located when Chandler showed it to myself.
Exhibit number 10.
This is Chandler's bedroom.
Now we're upstairs in the house.
Correct, upstairs.
All the bedrooms are upstairs, right?
Oh,
Yes.
hey, thanks very much. That's nice
Exhibit
of you to
number
say.
11.
This is actually the cheapest
Same,
fucking
Chandler's
yarn
bedroom.
of all time. I'll show you the label here. Hold on. This is the Chandler Halderson homicide trial. He killed his parents. He's guilty already. Like, we already know that he's in prison. but we're just watching the court case footage because that's the kind of shit that we like to do around here for Creepy Crochet. Here is the label for the yarn that I'm using. It's 100% acrylic yarn, so it's not like super soft or anything. Question, do you ever use Red Heart? I heard not a lot of people like it. Sometimes I love a Red Heart yarn. It really depends on the project. Red Heart yarns are amazing for like amigurumi that you're not going to like play around. Like something that you don't need to be super soft. But also Red Heart has a bunch of yarns that are really soft that aren't just like cheap acrylic yarn. So here, I'll get this out of the way. I ended up getting a really crazy deal on this yarn. Can't stand Red Heart. It hurts my fingers to work with it. I've never had that problem, but I probably don't crochet for as long at a time as you do historically. Only lately have I been crocheting like all day, every day. Actually, recently I've been learning to knit. I learned a new knit stitch. If you guys want to see, I have it just right here. This is a mess. I'm so sorry. But I just learned how to do this ribbing. It's really loose because these needles are really thick, but I'm pretty excited about how much better my knitting is getting. And I'm looking forward to, hopefully if we hit the monthly goal sometime, I'll be able to buy cross stitch stuff. You mainly use it because it's affordable. Yeah, absolutely. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like Big Twist value. Oh my God. I like Big Twist value for cheap yarn. It does not offend my artistic sensibilities. Yeah, fair enough. As long as it doesn't come unwound when I'm working it, that's all I fucking care. All right, I'm going to unpause here. Or wait, no, can I just see 4 readies in chat, please? I've been paused for longer than like 2 minutes, so let's make sure that everybody's ready. Excellent. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. Can we get people that are subscribed, please, if you could put your Doxy chat emotes in chat right now. Thank you. What you're using looks like velvet on stream. It's
12.
It's 100% acrylic.
This one is going to be
like
the
Red
parents'
Heart,
bedroom
to be
from
perfectly
Krista.
honest.
At the time you arrived, had people been looking around the house at that point?
I was aware that a few deputies had been shown around the home. This was not the state that the parents' bedroom was in when I first saw it.
Sure. What state was it in when you first saw it?
I stood in the doorway as not to enter.
Oh my God, that's so nice of you.
Did not have any of those items on it.
Please don't feel obligated, but it's
The
appreciated
end table, I
so
believe,
much.
was a little bit more organized.
Fair to say this picture was taken partially during the police search, and so things are out.
This was taken before the actual search warrant was
Oh my
conducted.
God.
Chandler told me that he had pulled out some drawers looking for
You
certain
guys.
things that would
Dragon Runner
help in the
Sparkler. Lawrence
investigation.
Delama gifted a tier 1 sub to Dragon Runner.
Exhibit number 13.
You guys are just the
This
best.
is going to
You
be
guys are
what
just the fucking
I guess
best.
you can call the office
Thank
level.
you so much.
The
Rena
home
underscore Georgina 5 Sparkler. Lawrence
fireplace.
Delama gifted a tier 1 sub to Rena
And
underscore
there was
Georgina
couches
5.
pushed together if you were to look to the left from this view.
And we're going to talk a
kind
little
of
bit
feel like
about
I'm going to cry. You
Exhibit
guys
13
are
later on, but
Dee
overloading
underscore
my
Georgina 5
emotions.
Sparkler.
You're
Lawrence
so
Delama
sweet.
gifted a tier 1
Pane of
sub to
glass
Dee
broken out of that
underscore
fireplace.
3825.
Yes, there is.
This is a different view looking over the table. Exhibit 14.
don't know
looking
Mothman's
back at the
cousin
fireplace.
underscore Sparkler.
Yes.
J. Rodham is
And the
gifted a
stairway
tier 1
there
sub
goes
to
up
Mothman's cousin underscore
that
underscore.
half flight to the
They have
kitchen.
given 12 gift subs in the channel.
On the table,
That's so nice. You're so
there
nice.
was a box fan when you arrived, correct? Or a small fan.
Yes.
Exhibit 15. Is this that?
J-Rod, do you
couch
think that
push
you're ready
together thing we've been
for
hearing about?
a
Yes, this is the
crochet in
same
the round
room.
tutorial sometime
That
soon?
door goes to the backyard, and then these are the couches that were pushed together that Chandler reportedly used as a fort, is what he called it.
And these are very close to that fireplace, correct?
Correct.
Exhibit number 16, just briefly, what are we looking at there?
This is going to be the shower, which is the only working bathroom in the house, on that same level as the
Also, I think
couches we
this
just looked
Friday
at.
we're gonna maybe do a subathon, guys.
Now we're in the basement, correct, with exhibit 17?
Yes,
I'm
this
looking.
is the
I'm
storage
trying
area,
to find a
the
good
lower
subathon
portion, the
timer
basement,
widget to use,
south side
and if
of
I
it.
can, then we're totally doing
As
it on
a sheriff's
Friday.
deputy for quite a while, I imagine you've searched quite a few homes, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
People
yeah,
keep their
J-Rod, just let me
basements
know
in
when
an
you're ready
array
to
of
start learning
states.
again, and then we'll
Yes.
do an
Is this
in
on
the
the more
round
organized side or the
tutorial
less
stream,
organized side
and it'll
of
be
how people
super
keep their
super fun.
basements?
I was impressed. This was organized.
Looking at exhibit number 18, what are we looking at there?
This is going to be the north side of the basement.
19?
Same, north
Oh,
side of the
yummy,
basement.
Ariana.
20?
This is a view from the north side
don't
of the
like
basement,
actual
looking back
strawberries,
up the
but I love
stairway.
strawberry in
That
stuff,
stairway
like,
would go up to the
so
level
much.
where the couch fort was. You can see the bottles of liquor there, along with some safes on the bottom center.
21?
This is a view of the storage area from the north side facing the south side.
That white thing in the middle, is that a chest freezer?
That is a chest freezer.
And when you were in the home, was that chest freezer empty?
The chest freezer was not in that location when
golly.
I was there on July 7th speaking.
I
with
don't know
Chandler.
why I
me
never
about
think
that.
of it. I
When
never,
he
like,
was giving us
adjust
the
and
tour
crochet
around the
extra
home,
loose for this part.
you know, we went
I just have
upstairs.
to
He
fuck
showed
it
us
up
around. You know,
every
we went in the living room,
single row.
dining room, kitchen, down by the couches, and then ultimately down into this level. While we were down in this level, he kept the lights dim. We were on the north side first, and then we actually came
Really?
over.
The
I
raw
specifically
edge on
remember
this
looking at
is
this location
actually
because
super
just
growing on
beyond where
me.
that freezer is, there's a cutout. Guesstimate would be
Usually, I'm
4 by
not crazy
4
about a raw edge. Is that the
void,
basement? Yeah, it
which
is.
I believe is under the front steps. That's beyond that, and then also the shelf to the behind the freezer there, the
I have an
cleaning
aversion towards
supplies.
strawberries because one time
I just
was
took
eating them and I
note
found worms in
of
the-
you know.
It's
all
just
the
me thinks that
cleaning
exact
supplies
same
and
thing
toilet
happened to me when
paper
I
and
was little.
whatnot. So
The
that shelf was
exact same-
clearly
that's
visible. I was probably
same, like
standing right,
100% same.
where that freezer
I
is.
bit into a rotten
So
one
when you're
and a
on that,
worm
this picture's
slithered
not
out.
taken on the 7th of July.
Crazy.
It is not.
The same
But when
thing
you're in the
happened to
basement
you.
staring at this location on July 7th, you're saying that freezer's not there.
It was not.
Do you have any recollection of where it was?
I do not recall seeing that freezer anywhere in the house.
That blows my mind.
At that initial time when you were doing the tour with Chandler and walking around, were you taking photographs at that time?
I personally was not.
Exhibit 22, what are we looking at there?
This is the south side of the basement. You can see the utilities in the
Oh my
back.
goodness, J-Rod, stop. You're so nice
23,
to me.
more of the same?
It's just
Correct.
me, thanks one sparkler. J Rodemus gifted a tier
When
1
you talk
sub to
about
It's just me,
organized,
thanks one.
okay, perhaps this is what you're
They
talking
have
about,
given
these
13
bins.
gift subs in the channel.
Yes. Yeah.
Number 24,
It's like
is that the stairs heading back up into
officially
the
a
house?
bucket list item
Correct.
to hug you someday, J-Rod.
And lastly, number 25, what are we looking at there?
This is going to be a picture of the inside of the garage. The entry door back into the house is over by the trash bins
No,
that
it
you
looks
can
like
see
we
on the
missed
left
the
side.
train this time, but that's okay.
These are
It's-
these two
we don't need to
vehicles
have a
are
hype train every
Krista and Bart
stream. You guys are
Halderson's. The
so nice to
Subaru
me.
was reportedly driven by Bart, and the Volvo was reportedly driven by Krista.
During your initial tour with Chandler, did he take you into the garage?
Ultimately, yes.
Is this a
He
booty?
seemed hesitant
That's
at first,
farting.
but then did allow us into the garage.
What do you mean by that?
He told us that that his two dogs were in the garage and that they were very skittish and would bark and jump on us.
But you were allowed into the garage?
Yes, he ultimately brought the dogs in from the garage and then let us out into the garage.
Did he point out anything in particular in the garage that was of interest to him or that he wanted you to know?
He did turn towards a storage shelf that's in the garage. He said that there was a bin missing that would be labeled cabin. So the bins that were on the storage shelf in the garage all had labels on them. At least I recall most, if not all, had labels on them. He said that one would have been taken to the cabin anytime they went, and that bin was missing.
I'm going to show you what's been marked in this case. Is Exhibit 227.
Loving the Doxy
Tell me what
chat
that is.
vibes. I can't get over
That's
how
the storage-
fucking much I
storage
love
shelf I'm speaking
streaming
of.
again. It's so wonderful.
Judge, if you want to switch to the Elmo, I would appreciate it. And I'll move Exhibit 227 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received. It may be published.
And just because we have a singular one out of order here, I'm going to show it on this screen. But there we go. We're looking at a shelf in the garage full of bins, right?
Correct.
The glare
And
on that
I'm
is
pointing to a
driving me up
location
the
where there's a missing
fucking
bin.
wall.
Is that where Mr. Halderson reported that there was a cabin bin missing?
Hi, Kika.
That's where he pointed to, yes.
Kika's here. Hi, bud. What are you doing? Where are you going? Don't you love when your cat comes up to you and is like, hey, I want to hang out, and then you turn to address them and they run away? Hell of a cat.
Then, Detective, you may be reseated back at council table, and I assume the state and the defense would agree this is a good time for a break for us. I'm often never upset if we go into the noon hour, because frankly, I think you run into less people with the food options if you're looking for food outside of the building. It is 12:10 right now, and if you can be back at 1:20, ready to go. It gives a full hour for you folks. We'll have less, but that's all right. Your notebooks stay
Your
on
cat
your
cries when no one
chairs,
told Moses to
and
say
Randy
hi.
will take you back.
I
we'll
just found
see
out
you
that this
after
one
the
either
lunch
has
break.
IBS
I
or
remind
cancer,
you,
and
as
there's no way to
always,
know
do
without
not
doing
discuss the
a
case
surgery
amongst
that he
yourselves
might
or
not
with any other
survive.
person. Don't take any steps to
And,
learn
we
or
just have to
research
hope
or
that the
find out any
medicine
information.
helps.
And if you're near anyone who's talking about
See you
the
later,
case,
Lawrence. Thank you
please
so much.
remove yourself or ask them to stop so that you're not exposed accidentally to any
I hope you have a
information.
wonderful
Thank you
night
all.
and your
Have a
cramps
good
get to
lunch,
feeling
Randy.
better. Okay. We have to go here. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying. Just gonna pet my cat for a few minutes while this happens. Yeah, it's a big, scary, horrible thing. I've been doing a lot of crying. I've been doing a lot of crying and petting Kika. Luckily, the treatment is the same either way. And like we will know eventually, but for now, we're just giving him a really, really nice life.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is James Lander. I'm the digital content manager for Channel3000.com. We are rejoining the Chandler Halderson trial here. The prosecution is going to continue calling witnesses to their stand, to the witness stand to continue their questioning. Already this morning, we saw them talk to 2 or 3 deputies from the Dane County Sheriff's Department. We also saw them question one of the detectives who was investigating the case, the missing persons case, after Chandler Halderson reported his parents, Bart and Krista, missing. So we heard from them already. We're going to continue to hear from some witnesses right now. You're not missing anything. The judge is kind of just giving some more jury instructions to the jury, post-lunch break, that kind of thing. But we will listen in now. Of note, the prosecution says we may hear from Chandler Halderson's older brother later this afternoon, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I will duck out here and let you guys listen in.
Thank you, Eggman. I love
Doing
Eggman.
that at any point in time, or even if you're deciding
Should I
you're
go
not too
trawl
stiff and you're
Ravelry?
gonna,
Are you looking for
just,
patterns?
aim your,
Do you
your
want to see
head
a
in
pattern
different
that I
direction. Be
really
cautious
want to
about
do?
the fact that over your left shoulders there's a camera on the other side of the wall, and they're certainly doing their best to not accidentally record anyone, but they're also relying on your position within the courtroom as they're filming other things that go on. So I just wanted to mention that to you folks. Thank you. Let's proceed with testimony. Attorney Raymond.
Yes, the state's going to call Mitchell Halderson to the stand.
I think that that's one of the prettiest sweaters I've ever seen, and if we hit the goal, I'm gonna definitely. We're gonna have a subathon this week, and if I'm sure that I'll know by the end of that whether we're hitting the goal this month or not, and if we are hitting the goal by the end of the month, then I will definitely get that pattern and do it on stream. Hi, sweet boy. Oh, I love you so much.
Mr. Halderson, if you are able to
Hi, I have
safely
to
and
start
responsibly, I would
crocheting for the
appreciate you
people now.
testifying without a mask, if you could.
You
yes,
can
Your Honor.
stay with me,
Thank you
but
so
I
much.
can't pet you so
Go
much,
ahead.
okay? I love you.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name?
Do you know if
for
it
the
goes to a
record and
60-inch
spell both
waist?
your
I'm not
first and last
sure.
name?
I'm so sorry.
My name is Mitchell Halderson, and that's Mitchell, and then Halderson is HAL, D as in David, ERSON.
Fuck. This is his brother.
What are the names of your parents, Mitchell?
Bart and Krista Halderson.
Oh, no.
And
This
do you have
poor,
any siblings?
poor baby boy.
And who's your sibling?
Chandler Halderson.
Oh,
Where'd you
no.
grow up?
Just me. That's the
Was
worst.
born in this area in Dane County, and then between 3rd and 4th grade moved up to Plymouth, Wisconsin, which is in Sheboygan County, and then have lived around here for college and work after high school.
Okay.
Sheboygan. What a white people word.
What has been marked
If he cries, I'm going to cry. I am in danger of the same for sure.
That would be a picture of my parents, actually a crop photo that I am also in. We are at the New Glarus Brewery.
and that was a somewhat recent, in the last couple of years photo.
Yes, within the last 4, I forget exactly.
And is that a true and accurate copy of that picture?
That
Yes.
did not help the anxiety at all. I'm so sorry about that sound, you guys.
Any objection?
No objection.
It may be published. It is.
All I need to do is finish the sleeves and the ribbing. Oh, such a bummer. And there's no way that doing like a different color would look good.
Dad, if you know, in July of this year.
He was born in 71, so in July he just turned 50.
And your mom, she was a few years older.
Correct, about 3.
What did your dad do for a living?
He was an accountant.
Do you remember the name of the firm that he worked with last?
Yeah, BDO USA.
And he did taxes and things like that, or?
Yes, specifically with small businesses. Was his specialty.
So is he kind of a money savvy sort of person?
I would say so. Definitely had finances, understood them well.
Do you believe in banks?
Yeah.
How old was your mom?
My mom was 53.
What'd your mom do for a living?
Was a stay-at-home mom for us growing up and has recently gone back to work as a receptionist at a car company.
Describe what was your dad like as a parent, just very briefly.
He worked a lot, so slightly absent during the time, but I would say had good expectations for us and overall was a good parent.
How would you describe your mom as a parent, just briefly?
A bit of the typical helicopter parent, very involved in our everyday lives, but again, because she cared.
Okay. So she stayed in communication with you often, is that a fair statement?
Yes.
I want to hold his hand.
What is the
I
age
just want to be patting his hand.
of your brother Chandler?
18 months.
And are you the older or younger sibling?
I am the older.
And just for the record, I think the judge is going to ask everyone but the jury to remove their mask for a few seconds. Do you see your brother Chandler Halderson in the courtroom today?
If everyone could lower their masks briefly, and after 1, 2, 3, replace your masks. Thank you.
I do.
Could you please describe by where he's seated and what sort of, maybe the color of his shirt?
Table to the right with a purple shirt and a suit.
I would ask the record to reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
It shall.
Did I detect a little bit of venom?
So Mitchell, if you're 18 months older, are you 24 or 25?
I just turned 25.
Okay. And in July of 2021, where were you working and what did you do?
I work at Epic Systems, and I am a technical services representative.
A computer guy.
Sure, yes.
Okay. And are you married, single, something else?
Engaged.
Engaged, okay. And how long have you been engaged?
A little over a year.
Okay. And you live in the Dane County area?
Yes.
In a house, a condo, something else?
In a house.
And just briefly, in June of this last year, 2021, you had a significant health episode. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, what occurred?
I went to the doctor for a regular scheduled appointment since I hadn't gone during COVID and wanted to get blood work done, and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes.
And in fact, you were hospitalized for a period of time.
Yes, that is true.
Was your mom or dad, did they seem concerned to you at all?
Yes.
You kind of laughed there. Why'd you laugh?
My mom was overly concerned.
How did she express that?
Not as much to me, trying to not show me that, but I have heard later on that she called her best friend many times crying.
Oh. Oh no.
Growing up and moving into recently, what sorts of things did you and your brother Chandler do?
Since we didn't live in the same house, we would do things online, like play video games and just talk that way.
Okay. What sort of video games did you play?
Wide array, but generally first-person shooter games.
Okay. And did your brother have a favorite weapon or gun in these games?
Usually those of Russian descent.
Okay. Like the SKS?
That's correct.
And in fact, during your illness, your brother gave you a gift. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
What did he give you?
A unknown type of bullet with the words "get well soon" on it.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 26.
Like a live bullet?
How would you describe Exhibit 26?
That is the same one.
That's the bullet that your brother gave you and wrote to get well on.
Yes.
Move Exhibit 26 into evidence.
Any objection?
No.
It is received. It may be published.
I don't think the overhead is going to do justice, but it just says get well.
That is weird and creepy, J-Rod. I agree.
I want to turn your attention to
More
when
of a
your parents went
romantic
missing
gift,
this
if you
year.
ask me.
How
I'm
did you
just
learn
kidding.
that your parents were potentially missing?
I don't remember the exact date,
Alex
but I did
Vega,
receive
how
a
are
call
you?
from my mom's best friend that had let me know that they had gone up, she had heard that they had gone up to the cabin.
Okay.
So I did not
It almost
suspect them
seems like a
missing at
threat.
that time. I
Agree.
just had heard that.
Okay. And what is your mom's best friend's name?
That would be Jane Hilgendorf.
Okay. So you get a call, and in fact, you call her Aunt Jane.
I do.
Okay. So you get a call from your Aunt Jane. What do you do, if anything, in response to that call?
I don't recall the exact events, but I did not think much of it because they would be known to go up to the cabin during
And
the
let's,
summer.
let's talk about that. So your parents own a cabin.
Correct.
Where is that cabin?
Langlade County, Wisconsin.
Okay. And how would you describe that cabin?
My grandpa had built it, so it was mostly wood logs, pretty run-of-the-mill, what you would think of as a rustic cabin.
Okay. Is it on waterfront, in the forest, something else?
Yes, it is on Sawyer Lake, Wisconsin.
Is there any other outbuildings associated with this cabin, such as a shed or a boathouse or anything like that?
Both of those. There is a shed out in the front, a boathouse in the back, and a in-shambles treehouse in the front yard as well.
Okay. And did your parents own a boat of any sort?
I believe so. There was definitely a canoe. I don't believe there was a full boat, or at least not that I remember.
And nothing like a pontoon or a ski boat or something?
Nothing with a motor that I'm remembering.
Okay. How often do you believe your parents went to the cabin?
They would at least open and close it every year and go probably 1 or 2 more times in addition to that, so 3 or 4 times a year over the summer.
Okay. And what were your parents' habits about keeping in touch or not keeping in touch with you in connection when they went to the cabin?
My mom would reach out any chance she could, so she would have told me.
Did your parents tell you in the last week of June or the very beginning of July any idea that they may be going to the cabin?
No.
So you first hear from your Aunt Jane. What is the next thing that happens that
Oh,
you
Forest
remember
Crawler,
in
how are you?
concerning your parents being missing?
The next thing I remember is Chandler texting me that he is worried
Ooh,
about
I'm
them.
gonna look at that.
Okay. What, if anything, did you do in response?
Asked more about why.
Yeah, that's
and
super
just
cute.
to hear
Holy
what they
shit.
had told him about leaving.
That's for
'cause I didn't hear
knitting.
anything about it.
And what did you learn from Chandler?
That they had gone up
free?
north with friends, that he didn't know who those friends were, and didn't know the car that they had taken.
I'm tempted to
What
give
was
that
your
a try.
understanding of friends that may go to the cabin with your parents?
The list, there is a list of people that I would have assumed. Do you want me to go through that list?
Sure.
That would be my Aunt Jane, Uncle Mike, also Dan and Mary Sesto, who lived on the same street, as well as Gail and Rick Kanapaki, who you might also hear from. And I had reached out to each one of those families and had heard back that none of them were the ones that had gone up north.
Did you have any understanding about who would drive when your parents went to the cabin?
Unless it was one of those three, I would assume that they would drive because they're the ones that know the way. And there are certain folks, notably Dan Sesto, that goes up there often enough that I would understand driving, but nobody else.
Okay. What happens next as far as your
Finding a
concern with your
sinus
parents?
infection,
What's the
no
next
fun
piece
at
of news
all.
you
I'm so
learn?
sorry to hear that. I'm hanging in
Eventually,
there. I'm having a bit of
detective comes
anxiety
to my
right now,
house,
but I
Rich
took
Bennett,
medicine.
in order
It
to
should
just
get
ask some
better
more questions
soon.
of me during the investigation. I believe that was the next thing that had occurred.
Okay. What happened after that?
Bumble Kitty store.
I believe it was Wednesday. It was whatever day Chandler was originally arrested. I had actually gone up to the cabin myself
Discord.
in
I'm
order
going
to check
to
it
need
out
you
just to see what was going on.
to
And why did you go to the
memorize
cabin?
that link
Wanted to do something myself
and
about
tattoo it on my heart.
Felt like I needed to do something.
So at this point on Wednesday or whatever day you ended up going to the cabin, were you fairly concerned?
Yes.
Okay. And what led you to being so
Excuse
concerned?
me.
Not having heard from them, not being able to get a hold of them, and not being told that they had gone up there to begin with.
So during this time period that you learned they're missing, did you reach out to your mom or dad via text or phone calls?
Yes.
Did you hear anything back?
No.
And did that concern
That
you?
sounds very
Yes.
cool.
At any point during the time that you learned your parents were missing, did anybody tell you that perhaps they were out gambling?
I don't believe during that period of between July 1st and July 7th I had heard anything about gambling.
Oh no. I'm sorry, guys.
Let me just ask, were your parents gamblers?
No.
Have you ever been to a casino with them?
No.
To your knowledge, have they ever taken a vacation with entertainment that is gambling?
Yo, J-Rod, you should
I'm
post
aware
the
of.
sinus clearing vid that
Were
you
your
sent
parents big
me
drinkers?
that one time. That was
They've
you,
gotten
right?
more into drinking, I'd say, since they moved back down to Windsor. Yes, but not huge drinkers, no.
Did you ever know your parents to drink tequila?
My mom would drink margaritas, but not from mixing it herself. It was the Costco brand pre-made stuff.
Okay. Did you know either of your parents to drink gin?
Yeah, that shit was amazing.
No.
Absolutely amazing.
Did
I
your
love that.
parents
vid-
take their
I use it a
work
lot.
or their jobs?
And I show it to people.
Seriously, not seriously, or something else?
Very seriously.
To your knowledge, have they ever no-called and no-showed for work in the past?
That would be very strange for them to do.
Yeah, it's amazing, J-Rod. You should post it. Literally from Wisconsin. I didn't hear about it when it happened, and I lived in
So
Iowa.
you go up north, and you meet a deputy up there.
Correct.
What do you do once you're up
Lived
there?
in Iowa. I
Before the
live in
deputies
Canada
arrived, I took a
now.
lap around the cabin myself just because I didn't want to wait outside any longer. Eventually, Langley County, I guess the deputies, I believe they were sheriffs and deputies,
Kinda low-key
met us there.
happens a
And
bit.
eventually I
Yeah,
took
there's
another
no
walk
shortage
around the
of
property with them, just pointing out things that I
familicide.
noticed. And also, they busted into the doors because they were all locked and the keys that I had were not working.
And at any point, obviously, you did not find your parents up there.
No.
Did you find any signs at all that they had been there?
Nothing looked like it had been used. There was a couple pieces of trash around, but I believe that's just because sometimes people will walk through the property on the way either between properties or just in the way. Either way, I do not believe it had been used anytime recently.
Mitchell, I want to ask you a few things about your brother and what you knew in June and July of 2021. Where, if anywhere, did you believe your brother worked in June of 2021?
I believed at American Family.
What did you think he did there?
Answering questions on a message board, things you can do from remotely.
Your understanding he was working from home like most people?
Yes.
Did you have any understanding about his payment schedule or anything like that in connection with American Family?
No, I wasn't really told much about that.
Did you, when he was arrested in July of 2021, were you under the impression he was still working at American and Family?
I was.
What, if anything, did you believe about your brother Chandler's schooling?
Believed he had not currently graduated yet, but was attending online classes at MATC.
And what did you believe he was studying?
Renewable resource engineering was the general consensus I had.
Did you have any knowledge about when he was scheduled to graduate or?
No.
Okay. And
Good night, Dee Dee.
in June of
Big
2021,
snugs.
your brother suffers a fall.
Yes.
What, if anything, did you know about that fall?
I was told that while my dad was home working, he had heard a thud and that he went upstairs to find my brother on the ground next to the staircase or on the staircase.
And did you see your brother in June of 2021?
In June, I did, yes.
Okay. What, if any, sort of lingering medical effects did he have, to your knowledge?
I wasn't aware of a lot. I believe there was general numbness, I was told, kind of during that, and overall tiredness as well.
Did you know anything about any potential long-term damage?
I don't believe that I was told enough yet. It seemed like it was still under evaluation.
And did you know anything about appointments in the future?
I actually did. I was told by
I really want to
Chandler
make a
during
boob
that between the time
sling
frame, I don't remember the exact date,
sweater
between
vest
July
type
1st
deal,
and July
you know what
7th
I mean?
that
Something
he
that
had an
just
appointment and he was
comes
asking
up
if I
under
could help give him a ride in case
and
he
you
needed
wear
one.
another shirt underneath of it. Do you guys
Did
know
you
what
guys
I
ever firm
mean?
up any
Is that
plans
coming? Am I
to take him to his appointment?
expressing
He
that?
had offered a ride if
clearly?
needed, but he never ended up needing it.
Okay. And
They were all the rage.
do you know roughly
for,
what
like,
date you
2017.
were diagnosed with diabetes?
Maybe 2016. I don't know. Maybe earlier.
If
than
the
that.
weekend was June 13th to 15th,
I love that
it was
look
in
too.
It was in the middle
so
of the
much.
month.
I
whatever
want a
weekend around
pattern
there.
for one of those
And
because I
did
would
Chandler's
love to
fall
crochet
occur
something like that.
before or after or during your hospitalization?
After.
Within days?
I don't remember. Could have been a week.
Okay. Other than Chandler seeming tired, did you personally observe any differences to Chandler's physical appearance?
Just the neck brace, but no, nothing else.
Did you observe any difficulty
Thank you
he
so
had
much
walking?
for posting that. Thank
I don't
you.
think so, no.
I'm
Did
definitely
you
gonna
observe
play
any
with that later.
weakness of limbs, picking things up, anything like that?
I didn't see him pick much up either, so I guess I can't say.
Okay. So, Mitchell, I need to ask you a few difficult questions. Are you a beneficiary for your parents' life insurance?
I am.
How much do you believe that you will end up getting out of life insurance because of their deaths?
They have a few different policies. It is in the, if I'm remembering correctly, it is in the ballpark of around $1 million.
That includes the house as well.
Yeah, I don't believe that's including the house, actually.
Have you been paid out anything as of today?
No.
Is anybody else listed as a beneficiary?
I believe it went to my mom first. If my dad's death had preceded my mom's, or I guess their policies listed each other as primary, but then yes, also my brother was listed in the same line as I was.
And Mitchell, did you have anything to do with your parents being missing?
I did not.
Going missing?
No.
And were you fully cooperative in the investigation?
Yes.
Did you provide a DNA or a buccal sample upon request?
Yes.
Did you provide proof of work during the first week in July upon request?
I did.
And did you participate in multiple interviews with multiple different officers?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Cross-examination.
I don't feel like those were that difficult
Good
of
afternoon,
questions.
Mr. Halderson.
Not any more difficult than asking
My
how they
first
were as
questions
parents and
have
stuff.
to do with you living at that house in Windsor, Wisconsin. Did you ever live there yourself?
I would never have listed that as my address, no. But I have stayed there over weekends.
Ethan, good to see you.
And before July of
How are ya?
2021, you would be at that home 1 or 2 times a month, perhaps, to visit?
You know, probably in the ballpark of two to three, possibly even 4 times a month. Yeah, we visited often because they were close.
And would those be overnight visits?
Occasionally, yes.
And when you say we, is that with your
My
fiance?
sweet girl.
That's correct.
Now, in July
My baby
of 20
kitty girl
or
is
June
here.
of
Come here, Sparta.
2021,
Show everybody how pretty
you
you
did
are.
visit
Come
there
here.
on Father's Day, is that right?
Come up here just for a
Or
sec.
let me rephrase that. You visited there for a Father's Day celebration,
That's
Pretty
correct.
girl.
but it wasn't on Father's Day.
I don't remember the date.
Up here.
And that was
Try to
a
get up
meal
here.
with everyone?
Yes. Yes. I believe I'm remembering the date you're talking about now, yes.
She won't.
How many
she
other
won't come
times
up.
did
I'm
you
sorry.
visit
I
that
was gonna
home
have
in
her come
June
up.
of 2021?
You're kind of close
I don't
to
believe
Windsor.
I
Oh,
would be able to
shit.
give an accurate number. It's a couple, but I don't remember the exact amount.
And is it fair to say that that would have been the number of times you saw your brother that month as well, in person?
That is correct, because, yes.
You guys didn't get together other times?
No.
A
Now,
baby.
you did,
She
or
is a
you
baby.
or you did have a relationship with your brother online, is that right?
That's correct.
Mostly playing
Sweet Sparta.
what are
Pretty kitty girl.
first-person shooter video games?
Mainly, yes.
Now, in direct testimony, you indicated that your brother was very interested in Russian guns,
Fun.
particularly the SKS.
Where
correct?
are you going, Ethan?
Yes.
And that interest goes back several years at least, right?
Yes.
How many years do you think that goes back?
Kitty girl.
I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
A
I'm not
long
sure.
time. Is that
Yes.
true? And in fact, when you would play, he'd always pick that weapon if possible, correct?
Variety is something that's always nice, but yeah, it would definitely be an option. That would be one of his first pick, yes.
Okay, Sparta, I have to crochet. I love you very much. You're a good girl.
Now, I'd like to ask you a
she's
little
being
bit
so
about the
sweet.
cabin. It's
Dixon
been a
Cider,
number
good
of
to
years
see ya.
since you've actually,
Had nasty
before
weather
July
all
of
through Texas.
2021,
Yeah, I
it was a
heard.
number of years
I was-
before since you actually went
Thought
there, correct?
I have to pause this.
That's
I'm
correct. I did
sorry,
not
guys.
frequent his office, my parents.
Dixon Cider. I thought I recalled you saying that you were from Texas, and I was just like, oh no, he just replaced his roof. I was worried about you. Are you doing okay? I mean tweeted Senator Cruz because I was thinking of you. Like, if you went and checked my sent tweets today, I sent him a mean tweet because right after I read that news, I went over to Twitter and saw that he had tweeted, and I was like, fuck you. Fuck you, Ted Cruz. Sorry, I just don't like him. I think that he's the worst. Yeah, fuck Ted Cruz in a big way. Like, I'm not for bullying and I shouldn't mean tweet people. But if I'm going to mean tweet anybody, then it's going to be either Tommy Loren or Ted Cruz. Sometimes Caitlin Bennett. And also Marjorie Taylor Greene. What happened in Texas now? Last night were like just high winds. And today there was tornado watches. I don't know whether there were tornadoes last night. I don't remember exactly. Do you need to? Yes, you need to call your parents. Yes. There were incredibly high winds, lots of damage. People died. Call your parents right now. I don't mean to alarm you, but it's been bad down there. Okay. Can I get 3 readies and then we'll move forward on... Oh my God, my cat's being so cute. She's playing now. I don't know what she's playing with, but she can have it forever. I love her. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to back it up just a little bit.
Do you remember the last time you went to the cabin?
Uh-oh.
Celebration.
That's correct.
But questions have to do with you living at that house in Windsor, Wisconsin. Did you ever live there yourself?
I would never have listed that as my address, no.
Good.
But I have stayed there over weekends.
And before July of 2021,
climate change, dudes.
You would
It's
be at
real.
that home 1 or 2 times a month, perhaps, to visit?
You know, probably in the ballpark of 2 to 3, possibly even 4 times a month. Yeah, we visited often because they were close.
And would those be overnight visits?
Occasionally, yes.
And when you say we, is that with your fiance?
That's correct.
Now, in June of 2021, you did visit there on Father's Day, is that right? Let me rephrase that. You visited there for a Father's Day celebration.
That's correct.
But it wasn't on Father's Day.
I don't remember the date.
And that was a meal with everyone?
Yes. Yes. I believe I'm remembering the date you're talking about now, yes.
How many other times did you visit that home in June of 2021?
I don't believe I would be able to give an accurate number. It's a couple, but I don't remember the exact amount.
No roof damage, though the rain was blowing sideways. I'm
And
so
is it
glad
fair
that
to
it
say
didn't
that
fuck
that
up
would have
your
been
shit.
the number of times you saw your brother
At least
that
7
month
confirmed.
as well in
Okay.
person?
Jesus Christ.
That is correct, because, yes.
You guys didn't get together other times?
No.
Now you did, you did have a relationship with your brother online, is that right?
That's correct.
Mostly playing
I know a lot of very nice
first-person
people
shooter
in
video
Texas.
games?
Yeah, I absolutely
Mainly,
agree,
yes.
J-Rad, 100%.
Now, in direct
I
testimony, you
blame the
indicated
people in
that
charge
your
of
brother,
Texas.
was very interested in Russian guns.
The George
particularly
W's and Ted
SKS,
Cruz's
correct?
and
Yes.
whatnot.
And that interest goes back several years at least, right?
Yes.
How many years do you think that goes back?
I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
A
I'm not
long
sure.
time. Is that
Yes.
Hi,
true?
Reaper. How are you?
And in fact, when you would play, he'd always pick that weapon if possible, correct?
Variety is something that's always nice, but yeah, it would definitely be an option. That would be one of his first pick, yes.
Now, I'd like to ask you a little bit about the cabin. It's been a number of years since you've actually, before July of 2021, it was a number of years since you actually went there, correct?
That's correct. I did not frequent it as often as my parents.
Do you remember the last time you went
He's
to the
doing
cabin?
so good. Like, I feel like I'm infantilizing him a little bit just because I
I don't
feel
remember
bad
exactly what year,
for
no.
him.
But it was
But he's doing a really good job. I
probably
feel like if
in
my
somewhere
parents
between
were
3 and
murdered
5
by
years.
one of my siblings, I wouldn't be able
had
to
been a
hold it
while.
together long enough to be on the stand.
And do
It's
you
going
recall
well,
going to the cabin
Reaper,
ever
I
without
am
your parents
absolutely
being
in
with
love with this project
No.
so far.
And when your parents would go to the cabin, you say maybe 4 times a summer, it wasn't uncommon that they would turn their phones off, correct?
I think cell reception has gotten better over the years. However, the area is a little spotty in cell reception, so it wouldn't be uncommon for them to turn them off to avoid roaming charges.
Hi, jet lagging. How
But
are
they would
you?
also power them back on occasion in order just to make sure that they would update us.
Over the weekend of July 4th, 2021, you weren't concerned about your parents until what point?
Can you rephrase that?
Yeah, at what point did you become concerned about your parents?
So I was initially concerned because I hadn't heard of them going up. It wasn't to the level of filing a missing persons case until I had heard further from Chandler that he was is concerned enough in order to do that. So my concern grew as time went on. I would say around once that Monday, Tuesday date where they were supposed to return hit, I was definitely pretty concerned.
Do you remember talking to Deputy Seeley from the Sheriff's Department?
I don't remember that.
Do you remember if you ever told Detective Seeley that you yourself were not personally concerned at the time you were talking to Deputy Seeley?
I don't remember which day that was, and I also don't remember saying that.
Is that something you might have said?
Depending on the date, possibly, because as I said, my concern grew over time. So if it was early on, then yes, possibly.
So it's possible that at first you weren't
Hindsight
that concerned.
is 2020.
Normal for your parents to go up north, but that your concern grew over time. Is that correct?
That is correct. I still was concerned because they hadn't told me beforehand that they had left. However, it wasn't as concerned as to file a missing persons report.
Reaper, thank you so much.
Reaper _ with _ no _ name cheered.
We're having an Etchy Expo in, where's San Marcos?
Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Any redirect, Attorney Raymond?
Texas, obviously.
No.
And what's
May
an
Mr. Halderson be excused and released?
Is that a car?
He's
a car
excused from
thing?
his subpoena for right now. He remains exempt from the sequestration order, but he remains under technical
So
subpoena.
you would still have an obligation to be recalled if recalled, and thus you have to follow the sequestration.
Oh,
You
anime.
haven't testified so far. Thank you, sir. You can return back to the lobby or the waiting room.
Adult
Judge, I'll note his exclusion
anime.
from the sequestration
I could be into that.
Oh, okay, I see.
That
I'm
does
sorry,
sound
I
fun.
misunderstood. There's an
Warm there
exclusion
today?
So that
It was
you don't
kinda
have to
chilly
stay
here
or
in
avoid the courtroom, even if you were to be recalled to
The
testify.
Halifax
Thank you.
metropolitan area.
And Attorney Raymond.
Yes, the state is going to call Sergeant Groves to
Oh,
the stand.
thank goodness, that poor sweet baby boy. I am so infantilizing him, but I'm so psyched that he is done on the stand. I hope that he does not have to go back.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing?
Do they have the stenographer do that? Was that the stenographer?
And sir, if you're
The stenographer,
believe
like,
you can
swears
responsibly
them
and
into
safely
court?
testify without a mask, that would be our preference, if you would. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record and spell both your first and last name?
Good afternoon. Justin Grones, JUSTINGRONES.
And Mr. Grones, how are you employed?
I am a detective sergeant with the Langlade County Sheriff's Office.
And where the heck is that?
The county seat would be the city of Anago,
Okay, so it's north of here about 2 hours?
just shy of 3 hours.
Oh, okay. A little bit further, 3 hours.
Hey, Eftar, how's it going? Good to see
And
you.
in early July of 2021, was your agency requested to be an assist agency by the Dane County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, we were.
What did you know about that?
On Wednesday, July 7th, we received a teletype from the Dane County Sheriff's Office asking us to check the cottage or lake home property which belonged to Bart and Krista Halderson of Dane County.
The bailiff does the swearing in. I've seen other people do it though. Okay.
And I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 28.
I thought that was the lady that was in
Employment,
front of.
do you guys have body cams?
In the
Are you
Langley County
talking
Sheriff's
about-
Office
hold
Detective
on.
Bureau, we do. Our patrol deputies do not.
This lady is this lady the stenographer?
You have a body cam.
Yes, I do.
Right here.
And did you provide footage of your body cam to the Dane County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, I did.
And I believe we
I
showed
can't
you
tell
a
if you guys
portion
can
of
see
this.
my
Did
cursor
there
or
be a
not.
true and accurate copy of your body cam footage from your assist to the Dane County Sheriff's Office?
Hi, Ozma.
Yes, it did.
How are you?
I would move Exhibit 28 into evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received.
Oh, forest crawler. Yeah, that's a bummer. Love me a Midwestern accent. Hey. He had the biggest RV in the entire state of Wisconsin. I'm telling you what right now.
And as we're getting this video queued up, roughly what are we going to see on this video?
As I mentioned, on July 7th, we had a patrol deputy go and check the property and surrounding area. On Thursday, July 8th, I was assigned to be a liaison for the Dane County Sheriff's Office. At that time, we were under the impression they
have
were
the best
sending some
cheese.
personnel up. They ultimately called their personnel back to Dane County, but we made contact with two individuals at the Halderson property, and I conducted a search with those family
Oh,
members.
yeah, Ethan.
Now,
Yeah.
Do you remember the address
In a
of the
big
Halderson
way.
property?
Yes, ma'am. It is at N5950 Sawyer Lake Road, which is in the township of Wolf River, Langley County, state of Wisconsin.
I am going to need to do some anxiety
We are now going to
breathing
move to publish
exercises.
Exhibit 28.
Jeez.
Very good. Oh, and thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this instruction applies to any and all audio or video exhibits which you may be viewing during this trial. You are about to hear and view an audiovisual recording. Recordings are proper evidence, and you may consider them just as any other evidence. Listen carefully. Some parts may be hard to understand. You may consider the actions of a person, facial expressions, and lip movements that you can observe on videotapes to help you determine what was actually said and who said it. This video has been closed captioned. You will not be provided with any other type of transcript to help you listen to the recording.
Why?
If you notice any difference between what you heard on the recordings and what you read in the captioning, you must rely on what you heard, not what you read. Some videos may have been edited or redacted for reasons which are not relevant to these
Principal
proceedings.
Victoria
In
from
addition,
South Park.
if you hear statements of others in the videos, those statements are not being offered as evidence. The
Yes,
statements of the
Ozma, it
defendant,
is.
as recorded in some videos, are the evidence offered by the state. You may proceed.
The guy who killed his parents.
Is it muted?
Is it muted? I wonder how many times that exact thing has been whispered on my channel and I have not gotten away with it. Says the video instruction.
Does the sound with you?
You're not wrong, neuroblastoma.
We'll go off the record for a moment.
I completely agree
Now
with
I find
you.
it out.
He definitely has like that clarity.
Hi there. I'm Detective Sergeant Grones of Langley County. Are you guys
The Halderson?
you okay? You are affiliated with them?
Yes.
Okay. What's your relation?
I'm their son.
You're their son. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's my understanding someone from the Dane County Sheriff's Office is going to be up here soon. I don't know if you've.
They unfortunately were just called from being informed. They were just called back actually.
Oh,
So they will not be here.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's news to
This
me
is,
too.
yeah, it's okay. This is actually someone from the sheriff's office. If you want to talk to him.
Oh, sure. Hello.
Hi, this is Detective Rich Bennett with the Dane County Sheriff's Office.
Cool lip movements for us to discern what's being said.
Unfortunately, our two detectives that were going up there to meet with them, they got pulled back and they're here now. And I just found out about this and was told to give them a call and let them know. So I apologize.
Oh shit, time to stretch and hydrate? Okay,
sure.
1 second.
Yeah, we'll.
So
I guess we'll touch
sorry.
base
I
with.
can't
with
believe
them
I
up
missed
here.
that.
Is there anything else that you guys would need us to do while we're
I'm
out
gonna
here?
hydrate first.
At this moment, no. But I mean, if do you feel like, you know, it's worth going around with them if they wanted to talk to neighbors or something? Because they mentioned they might want to.
Sure.
But I mean, that's something you certainly don't have to do.
Okay.
So, but at this time,
Worst cameraman ever. I'm pretty sure it's a body cam.
Sure.
I don't think there's anything that we could have you do at this moment, but that doesn't mean it won't change.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, if we come up with anything here through our conversation, we'll be in touch with you guys and let you know then.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yep. This is their son, and then are you friend?
I'm fiance.
Fiance.
I'm his son.
Okay.
Yep.
Apparently he was just on the phone with Dane County, and they got called back to Dane County, so they're no longer coming up here.
Oh.
So at least they let you know that, I guess.
I was just calling to see what was going on.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
just told me now.
Yeah, because we were kind of thinking the same thing too, based on when they said they left, that they should probably be here. So yeah, I'm Detective Sergeant Grones with Langley County. Sergeant O'Neill, Deputy Rojas. Deputy Rojas has been out here a little bit yesterday and
My
then,
water
this
bottle?
morning as well.
I don't have
this
my.
is my first time at
Hold on,
this
I'm gonna
property.
pause
I haven't
here.
seen anything.
Uh,
One thing that he mentioned that I think would be
I
a
don't
good
have
idea.
access to my keyboard during these streams, but I can tell you exactly what to search for on Amazon in order to get it. And it is I found it just by searching 118 ounce water bottle. But for reference, it is, or not for reference, for your ease of searching, it's Charlovy. Sierra Hotel Alpha Romeo Lima. I don't remember what is O. What is O? Victor. I don't remember what is Y. Oh no. Anyway. Charlovy. 118 ounce. That is exactly the one that I have. Mine did not come with the strap, though. But yes. Oscar! That's right. What one is Y? What's he? Y? Is it? It's not Yo-Yo. What is it? What's Y? Yukon? It's not that. I'm so bad at everything that I ever try to do. Ugh, I'm sorry, everyone. Just in general, I'm sorry. Good night, Rana. I'm sorry, good night, Dragon Rana. Have a good one. Yankee! It is Yankee! Fuck! You guys are too good to me. All right. Can I get 4 readies in chat, please? Excellent, thank you.
Is have you like walked around or anything yet?
Yeah, I did a walk around just quick.
Okay. Do you have a key or access?
We were hoping so, but no.
No? Okay.
We found a set of keys we were hoping were the right ones, but it doesn't look like it.
Gotcha. If it works for you, I just want to roll my windows up and lock my car, but maybe we could just take a walk around and see. You would know the property probably better than we would.
It's changed a bit since I've been here, but yeah.
Sure. How long has it been in the family?
It's always been in the family since the 40s.
Okay. Do you guys typically use it a lot, or?
A few times a year. This is when my parents come up. I haven't come in a while.
Okay. If you had to guess, I mean, how long has it been since you were up here?
Me personally, probably 5-6 years.
Okay. Do your parents regularly come up here?
Yeah, they come here a few times a year.
A few times a year. Okay.
3 or 4. I don't remember if this is the first time this year or not.
I think this is the 3rd time this year. Because I think your dad opened it and then came after a storm or something.
Okay.
And then came again.
Sure. All right, yeah. Let me just grab my
Girlfriend's
windows quick, and
voice
then
is really,
we'll
really
take a look
nice.
around, and we'll go from
I
there.
love
Okay.
voices. Finding a transcript gives too much potential for a mistrial. I stand by the lack of provided transcriptions. Okay.
419 Lane 1043.
Like, just due to, like, typos and stuff?
19,
I
go
think
ahead.
it's incredibly uninclusive. And, like,
Uncoded.
very
Apparently Dane County
anti-defending.
canceled their
She is
detectives,
Japanese
so they're
for
no longer
naughty.
coming, and
Voice
they're
actors,
coming to Dane
actresses
County.
from Monster
We are out with
Musume will be
the
there along with
Halderson's
art,
son
mouse
and
pads,
his
body pillows,
fiance,
clothes,
and
etc.
we'll be taking a walk around the property
I
with them.
want a body pillow that has boobies or a butt. Or a husbando pillow would also be very fun and funny, and I would like it a lot. Oh, hello. Didn't even fucking finish the row. I had a better reason earlier. Don't know if you saw it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Transcripts aren't sent to the jury because statements within those transcripts could be deemed perjury, irrelevant, or factually incorrect, leading to a biased trial. But if they are... No, that's bullshit. That's stupid. I'm going to pause it really quick. Are you by the same name on YouTube? Yes, I am. I'm going to start releasing YouTube content pretty soon. I'm in the middle of editing a video right now. I want to make sure that I have a couple of videos like ready to rock before I post any. But my Patreon is going to be going live tonight also. Or not necessarily tonight. I'm sorry. Not necessarily.
What do you awful women want?
A Shirley Cat hosting with 4 viewers.
Thank you so much, Ashire Cat, for the raid. What do you awful women want? I hope it's true crime and crochet. What was that spray? Honestly, no idea. Okay, I want to pause this again. Or actually, I don't have to. They're not really talking. I think that anything that is presented as a fucking... as just a transcript of what is being said in evidence could be very easily dismissed when it comes to things like perjury or whatever. I just came back, but congrats on getting Patreon set up. Thank you.
Do you guys have a boat or anything up here?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to try to get in there as well to see if any of them are missing.
Boathouse? Okay.
There's a couple people that are
Everything looks
still like connected to my are still pledged. There are 2 people that are still pledged to my Patreon, and if I just activate it, I don't want it to automatically charge them. So I had to send them messages, and I want to wait till I hear back from them before I make it active.
On from that window?
A coffee mug that says "Fill me up, senpai." Reading text doesn't convey what was necessarily said, though. Okay, but you would then be able to argue why would they be okay with using closed captioning? It might be a state law with video transcriptions. I don't know. It may be different rules with diversity inclusion. Yeah.
I would not think so, because that is actually like open, not even just the blinds. Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Oh no. I was like, why is this so weird and loose? I accidentally, for no reason at all, I just chained something here before,
See if we can get a ladder.
oh my god, did I chain? I did. Why would I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I chain 2?
No?
I'm glad I caught that. What a fucking garbage queen. I am a garbage queen. Queen of the garbage.
I didn't catch your name. Oh, Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Because otherwise, I mean, we probably could get in.
I'm unfortunately
If you
between
wanted
jobs at
us
the moment,
to,
but I'll keep it noted. Please do not ever
obviously
feel
there'd be
obligated to
some
take care of
damage.
me. I want you to
We
make
try
sure
to
that you are
minimize
taken
it
care
as
of
best
before
we
you
could.
ever stress about taking care of me.
At least makes sense at this
It's
point.
fucking
I-
tough out there
to be safe
right
rather
now,
than
and I
sorry.
don't
Yeah,
want anybody to
yeah,
feel
we-
like just
we're not
because
gonna
they
drive
aren't
a truck
necessarily
through a wall,
making as
but,
much money as they
but no,
were
unfortunately, if it's locked, we would
pre-COVID,
have to
or
do
just like if
something,
you are
but-
somebody who does not make that much money. I don't want you to think that you are less valuable to me as a viewer.
Okay.
Because you're
yeah,
not.
and I have a pry bar, and we might have some other options to. Yeah, a lock is a lot cheaper to replace than a wall, but yeah, let's maybe take a look at the boathouse and.
Same thing down here, it's just a padlock, but there is a window, but it's kind of tall, so it's
Okay.
Trying to save up for your own place, yeah, that's very worthwhile cause.
It's like sunflower seeds.
Yeah. That wouldn't be theirs.
Okay.
Say that. Yeah, it looks pretty old.
Do you, based on, I guess, your experience with the property, do like a lot of people walk the shoreline, or I know there's campground
I
and
hope
stuff.
it
Is
went
that
well
like
for you
common
too,
for people
Mafia's cousin.
to kind of wander?
I hope that.
I guess it's
Your
hard to say.
R's
I
are
don't-
visiting
not
though.
over
Aw,
here,
you
at
guys.
least. It's possible, I guess, they do, but not here.
Yeah.
The other thing was a fixed axe kind of beer koozie sort of ring holder. Looks also kind of old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to be, depending if your parents only come up here a couple times a year, if the neighbors know that, and you have a nice little beach here, they might just kind of poach on your little territory here.
Awesome, Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
Oh, sure.
I'm
it's
glad
right
that
there.
that went well for you. Just won a Fortnite match by taking down a tank and blowing up my last two opponents at close range. Fuck yeah, right, Kudo. Good work.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to see for a ladder. You don't even know if you have a bolt cutter in your squad by chance?
I do not need a bolt cutter, but yeah,
I got a pry bar, yeah. Well, you can grab that window.
Nice.
That window's interesting.
Yeah, I just you guys told him you want to see a bunch of flies.
Right.
You're not keeping them.
No. Yeah, well, maybe if you just want to hang tight with them, I'll go see what I got for equipment. Yeah, we can start there.
Hi, baby kitty. Come on. You can do it.
It's definitely not.
Kika. Kitty, 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 kitty. Come here, baby kitty. Kika.
Is it just me, or does that not look faded like it should be?
You'd think it would be faded.
Kika. Kitty, 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 kitty. Need to get some rest, but before I go, if you can't make it, what anime character is your favorite? If they have it, I'll snag it for you. Oh, man.
There's just this thing here, but...
That's a big question.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say Aang from Avatar? I feel like that wouldn't be part of a naughty one. If there's anything from the hentai Wordsworth. Been up for 22 and a half hours. Oh, dang. Yeah, go get some sleep, bud. He got hot when he grew up. He did. He's my sweet babu. I love my kitty so much. Also needs some sleep. Well, anybody that has to take off, I don't blame you. It's pretty late. Go get yourself a solid 8 hours. We're gonna be ending the stream here real soon anyway. Kika. Tomorrow I hope to go live much earlier than today. Hi, baby kitty. Oh, I love you so much. What do you think you're doing? Hi. What are you doing, Kika? University Heights Police and some of the Iowa State Police Department sectors fucking sucked. They didn't cut out the footage in segments showing only what was relevant. They would just send entire 24-hour blocks of recordings, and I would have to go through all... Oh, fuck that. Kika, you're being such a pest. You sweet boy. He's crocheting, guys. Kika has some crocheting to do.
Yeah, I couldn't really hear him, but he said go ahead and get in.
Yeah. I think, might just be able to pop that latch right off.
Oh, I should take pictures first.
I would definitely take a Prince Zuko body pill. I would. Mothman's cousin, I'm wishing you a solid 24 hours. Doxy would be a ditto, then she could be anything. And look like a pink poo in neutral. I love that. University Heights Police do suck. 26 and 25 zone, you're fucked, but you're not wrong. They suck so bad. They suck so bad. Character in my last D&D game. Awesome. It was so fun. I was a sentient booger. I was a piece of the primordial
Sheriff's office,
ooze.
anybody inside? Announce your presence,
I
make
it
yourselves
so
known.
much.
Okay. Got closed doors straight, closed door
A wizard
right.
experiment gone wrong. I love that.
Kitchen area.
Amazing. Ow. Owie.
Suppose I'll hold the stairs and over here.
Okay.
You want to clear the kitchen.
Sheriff's office, anybody inside? Announce your presence, make yourselves known.
Oh shit. Yes, back post now.
This little pantry. And shit. There's a trapdoor basement.
Okay. Upstairs looks pretty small.
Kitty Bumble.
Made up.
Did you check these two doors or?
Not yet.
Bumble
Okay.
Kitty. I have a question for you. Or any of the seasoned crocheters in here.
Upstairs.
Okay.
I really want to practice making cables. I have never pulled off a beautiful cable pattern. Do any of you have any, like, what is the best pattern you know to, like, learn and perfect cables on? Like, I've done cables, but I've never had them come out looking nice, and I've been too intimidated until recently. I kind of got over a hump And like my crochet just got like a bazillion times better. You've never done one? The charts are intimidating? Yeah, fair enough.
I didn't even see those little handles.
If anybody has,
Because I'm not even seeing.
if anybody has a
a
pattern that they could link me to, I would love if you would, Bumble Kitty. They're really simple and my favorite. If you have a particular pattern that you would be willing to link to, I would
There was
love
a
that.
shark on a chair in that big bedroom.
I really want to get good at cables. I think that they are just absolutely stunning. I love, love, love cable work.
Oh, fuck. Holy shit.
What are they cussing about?
Is there like a fucking pole or something?
These are like the steepest stairs I've ever seen.
I think it's supposed to be a ladder, bud. I think it's supposed to be used like only as stairs. Like you have arms.
No, it's just a little crawl space. And oh, there's a corner. I better check.
Oh, that's beautiful. I will keep this open and take a look at it later too. Yeah, I definitely need
I found the latch and it seems pretty sturdy.
to learn good cording.
Yes,
Like don't hit it with your head.
much a hands and feet situation.
Oh, sorry, Raikudo. I didn't mean to be confusing. Yeah, cable is like the quintessential knit sweater that you think of that has like the raised patterns on it. You meant for crochet, didn't you? I did. So sorry.
Yep. But there's place used to look a lot different back in the day.
Yeah, sure.
The lawn was mowed.
Yeah. Lost a couple of trees. That's gotta be his dad, I'd say, huh?
It must be.
Right, Ethan? Yeah.
Well, and this is just that screen porch. There's
On a knitting kick right now. No, don't you dare be sorry. That's a-okay. That is a-okay. I'm only in the beginning stages of learning knitting right now. I'm having a hell of a time with it. It is not
I
as
think we should have him go through it too.
free as
I
crochet
don't see
is.
anything, but I guess
It's much more rigid.
it's a power off. I saw. Maybe they turn the electricity off when we're done here.
Oh, look at that. Maybe there's even extra locks. Well, we need no lamp. But there's some spare locks sitting there.
So there's thing. I don't know if that tree stand looking thing is theirs or not, but I don't think. And then there's this. That has the same kind of padlock if that's theirs.
Tough to say up here.
Yeah. I'll ask him. So we were able to just basically just pop the latch off the front door, so it shouldn't, that really should be the only thing that would need to be fixed is just the latch. It should still lock and everything. Nobody inside and nothing looks like it's disturbed. But if you want to take a look with us, because you might know better if anything looks out of the ordinary. Do you know that little like shed building that's in front? Is that... There's okay,
yes. And so I would kind of want to look in there, and also kind of want to look in the boathouse just to see.
Okay, if you're cool with it, I mean, we can just the same thing. Try to just pop the latch off, and
that'd be great.
That or I saw right next to the door. There's a little basket with some spare padlocks and keys.
Those should probably be the right ones. I would.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe we'll save a couple latches.
Yeah. I do remember they usually keep the keys in that basket.
Okay.
So if there's something in there.
Didn't notice anything like a duffel bag or anything to suggest that maybe they were staying here and like left and were going to come back. I'm assuming the power is shut off too. I'm assuming maybe if they're not going to be up here, they might shut the power off.
There is a little bit of damage there.
I bet I could pin this one on the brother.
Tried to be as gentle as I could. So.
Oh my god, you guys are killing me.
I'm gonna run this back out with my car.
Okay.
Now, we'll just keep it here until we get in.
Okay. Sure.
How are your ancestors related to knitting? Question. I am entirely self-taught. I think I don't know if that's what you're asking, but I am entirely self-taught.
Well, I could probably be a potent to send me to lockpicking for law enforcement.
Oh, it's not these. No.
Sorry, I'm just trying to look at who we're going to be rating today.
I have a feeling that'll pop off there pretty easily, though.
Those need more than anything else.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Killed a horse with a single punch. I was gonna say now that's a story I'd like to hear, but genuinely I hate hearing stories of animals being hurt. I love the Basketweave you do. I want to figure that out after I finish my blanket. Okay, here, really quick. I'm gonna pause this. I'll explain it as best I can, and I'll make a clip so that you have a clip to reference, okay? So here, I'll undo this. The way that I do it is I do a regular chain to count as a double crochet at the beginning. And then once you have your foundation chain of single crochets, you want to make sure that you have a row of single crochets to work with, okay? And then for row 2, you would chain 2 to count as a double crochet. And then you're going to be working with double crochets, and you're going to be using the front posts and the back posts, where instead of going into the stitch like normal, you're going to snag up the post, either from behind it, if you're front posting, which we are right here, or from behind if you are back posting. Back posting will cause these ridges. Front posting will make these long lines going through here. And you alternate that. I like to do 5 stitches each of the back post and the front post. And then every 3 rows, switch. It's super, super easy and simple, and it looks great. It's not too feminine. It's not too masculine. It's a little on the masculine side, but everybody knows that all clothes are for all genders. All right. I'm unpausing. Hopefully that helps. And that is now clipped for you so that you can go ahead and grab that whenever you need. All right. I am going to unpause this. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Ah, jeez. Is a jock strap that says my other wiener is a bigger wiener, gender neutral? 1,000,000%.
There. Just unlock it.
Clear.
Yeah, J-Rod, now you know what to get your girlfriend for your anniversary.
He was saying he'd want to see if
the bolt was missing.
Uh-oh. You realize how much I hate that the only thing I know about my great-grandfather is that he punched a
I'll
horse.
bring these keys and try them, but
I didn't know much. I don't know almost anything about any of my great-grandparents. I know very little about them.
what's that?
Hey, anytime, Epdar. I'm so happy to, be there. By the way, Quinn, if you make that conspiracy channel, I'm in. I'll help if there's anything that I can do. I'm all for it.
What the actual fuck is that?
Nice rolling late opium with 423 per.
Oh, a toe biter thing?
Important.
a water beetle or something.
Holy
9294.
Well,
I've seen deer walk on town the last week or so. That far.
I don't know. There's no way. This key is bent. That's cool. There's that one. That thing is huge.
It's something even bigger than that, like oblong.
I want to see it. I want to see the bug.
Didn't know these worked for that either.
Like, I know that they weren't thinking about the bug enthusiasts that would be viewing this footage later while this was happening, but I really wish they would have been. God, nobody ever thinks of us.
That one actually looks tougher.
Sure does. You a bad burglar.
Yeah, I know.
I just don't feel like it's that much to ask, okay? We exist. We're out here. We're
Just turn
real.
that, and then
Not anymore.
no. Now I wonder if that latch will fit through that lock.
Yeah, I don't really know what this is supposed to be evidence of. Is this the defense trying to pin it on the brother? Because the brother is there, right? Mitchell is there with them, right?
Silly needles. That looks like 2 bolts. New tubes.
YouTube.
There's a big open spot where maybe there could have been another canoe or something, but
Sure.
want to hit that thing or?
I think it's dead. I think it's just like a shell of.
I think it's just plain possum.
That guy's very scared of bugs, I think. These cops and this bug, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go put my fly bug.
This is evidence, like, but of what, though? What is this evidence of?
I'm gonna give him another locky there.
Oh. Awesome, you're right. Okay. Sorry, I thought you were trying to say that's why we're watching this. I didn't realize that that was a part of a bit about the bug. A bit about the bug is very fun to say. I recommend you all do it out loud to yourselves right now. Not as good as chicken in the crock pot, which is by far and away the funnest thing to say. But it's pretty good. A bit about the bug.
Well, unfortunately, none of these keys work for the locks. So we did have to. We popped the one off the shed and the boat hose.
Okay.
Nothing out of the ordinary in the shed. I can give you these back here. The boat house, it looks like they're. I guess I'm not sure how. There's a John boat and a canoe in there, and then there's some like pool noodles, inflatable inner tubes. Okay. I don't know if how many boats are supposed to be in there.
I did not know
but
that. I was fully unaware of that.
2 boats in the canoe.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Mothman's cousin every weeknight. We're here for several hours.
Does your family do any other property like
Yeah,
up
have a
here
good night.
in
Thanks
the
for
area
checking
at
us
all?
out. Looking forward to seeing more of ya. Gotcha, Quinn. Okay. June bugs scare me to my core. I'm serious. They make my body, they like, entirely, they make my blood go cold. I adore insects. I genuinely do. I was that weird kid that like saved earthworms and stuff like that. I love bugs. But June bugs.
Yeah, and that book's always there too. And it looks like there is another second one behind it.
I can't.
Oh, there. Oh, yep. You're right. There is. Okay.
Yeah, this looks
It's pretty normal. Okay.
My mom's, when she died, my mom's shed was infested with brown recluse spiders. It was unsafe for us to go in there.
I don't know a ton of details about everything that's
like dirt
gone on or
daubers? I
going
don't
on.
know
I guess
dirt
my
daubers.
understanding is they're
Earwigs
believed
get
to
you?
be with another
I
couple.
think the earwigs are so pretty.
Okay.
Allergic to ants.
I was
I'm
gonna see
allergic to
if you
bees
knew
too.
who they were. If
It
because
would
we could always
suck to
look
be
and see if
allergic
they
to
own
ants 'cause
property
ants
up here
get
in the area.
everywhere.
I have to assume it's someone they know.
I
that
love a
does
millipede.
property up here.
Okay.
He said his brother texted him that they did make it safely to White Lake.
But they never specifically said cottage, like our cottage ever. Now that like reading back through stuff, they just said we're going up north. We made it to White Lake.
Okay.
And you said they were going to see the.
They were going for the 4th parade.
Sure. Okay.
In White Lake.
Even just cross question.
Any other, like, you said family doesn't have any other property, but any other relatives or anything that you know of up here?
My
Not
mom,
here, okay.
well, no sweat, no sweat. The only thing I was juror for was interesting. The prosecution had no evidence other than speculation as to what might have happened. While the defense had evidence produced mid-trial, which was just a sketch of
Or medical treatment. Said he was good and he became agitated. 10-8.
Do you know, did they have any friends, like they might have gone to their cabin in the area, I mean up in the forest for O'Connell? Or?
I have to assume they came up to someone else's cabin, but I don't know who. I wouldn't know anyone else with one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You
That
said most of their friends are
is
still in
some
town.
fun and interesting history. Would that be something that would be like fun to cover on the show? Bumble Kitty Store, do you think there would be enough stuff to talk about that for a creepy crochet sometime?
Even up this way, like I said, in the forest, O'Connell.
Yeah, there's a lot of backwoods lakes, and yeah. This is probably a dumb question that you've been asked, but have you tried like phone con? Has anybody been able to get a hold of them, or? Okay. Sure. Do you know if they tried like pinging their phones at all?
Not mine, at least.
Well, your brother said at some point that he signed off the phone somehow, but we haven't heard anything about
Sure.
them
Okay.
trying to get a hold of their phones.
Sure. And yeah, that's probably something they're working on like a phone ping, trying to get a location of where it's at, but. And then, do you know, does the family own property across the road too? I thought I had heard or saw that somewhere that.
I think so. I think they own a bit of it.
Okay.
Mom owns a bit across the street.
Just wooded though? Is it?
Yeah, there's nothing out there.
Okay.
For us. Like,
That's what it shows on the
buildings,
map.
there's no buildings out there.
Sure. Okay.
And they prefer to stay in their cabin as opposed to coming up and sleeping on the ground, I assume, so they're not tent camping.
You said your dad wasn't much of a hunter.
Maybe
or
I don't know
fisher
how
either.
much is really
He doesn't hunt,
reported.
but he
A lot
does
of what I
fish.
know
Okay.
is word of mouth because there are families like my boyfriend that have lived there for generations. But there are some like religious type art installments there that
yep.
are hella creepy. I don't know if it would be a whole night's worth of story though. Okay, fair enough.
Go check out the front shed to see if those jerry can things.
Same forest crawler. I don't know what it is, but June bugs, they just
Gas cans ready for them to go.
they might as well be little Freddy Kruegers.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah. Before I
Flying
forget
around.
to, I'll give you my card for up here. It's got my phone number, email, anything on there.
I know that they're just good little boys and girls out there trying to live their life. I know that they never meant to harm anybody. I know that. And I love them all the same, but I also hate them. For your own entertainment, it's still cool to look up. The roofless church is the main creepy feature. Next time I'm there, I'll have to take some pics for the Discord. Definitely.
I see one in the back.
I think he meant the plastic. That's like
Okay, I didn't know if you were.
You can start getting ready for bed. Good night. Good night, Reacher. Sleep well. Every fiber in your being is just, nope. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, that is exactly how it fucking feels. Y'all, I regret watching this video. Like, what is evidence here? Like, unless one of the torsos falls out of the sky right now, I don't know why we watched this. And even if, why would they not just play that part? I do not understand what this is supposed to be evidence of. Ooh, excuse me, I'm so sorry.
The like the treehouse deer stand right there, is that yours as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
The truth that they weren't there? I mean, I guess. But, like, what if they were out boating? We don't know. Okay, there's no more than 5 minutes of this left, so we can probably get another row or two done.
Looks like the floor is falling out of it, so I'm assuming.
It's pretty old.
Yeah. Did you check? Did you check it? Okay. All right.
It's up to the jury to decide what is relevant in the video, but any police conduct on site needed to be recorded. I guess. Like, of course, yes, it needed to be recorded, but, like, this just doesn't feel like evidence of anything. I don't understand why it would be put
like, you know,
forth.
when you were a kid, when you came up here in years past, I mean, is there anywhere else you guys would go, like, up to Minocqua or Rhinelander or anywhere like that? Like, if you were up here, like, take a day trip somewhere?
I'm not going to know the name of it, but we would go to a candy store just for fun, but that would be about it.
Okay.
Maybe my parents would go there since they like the taffy there if they were up here. But
Okay.
It was a pretty big place, but I don't know the name of it.
Sure.
There's some big candy store up, Oneida County, isn't there?
I know there's one, like, downtown Minocqua.
I think it's it's a pretty big place. It's got a few different rooms that you can go around in, but it's not a chain.
Okay.
At least not that I would think.
It's like the mom and pop up north
Kind of
candy
thing.
store.
Yeah. Something like that. It's.
Do you remember if you drove like a while to get there?
Yeah, it was a decent.
It needs to be recorded, sure, but that doesn't mean it needs to be entered into evidence in this case.
Sure.
Unless the prosecution is just wanting to establish a timeline.
Your parents, like, go to casinos at all?
Yeah,
or
I
anything?
don't understand why this would be submitted. Yeah.
There hasn't been any squabbling amongst the family about ownership up here, has there?
Well, all of your mom's family lives.
Go ahead, 469.
Our own game of Ace Attorney.
Okay.
I've never played any of the Ace Attorney. I need to.
Folks didn't say anything about having problems with neighbors.
So they can
wanting to
form
buy
their
a
narrative
house.
argument against the defense, but at least this way it's entered in case it's important later. So, like, yeah, fair enough. I find you guilty of being lame.
Well, I mean, for us, we're here and available if there is anything that comes up. I mean, we can certainly take a drive through White Lake too and see. I mean, we're looking at quite a few days ago now since the parade, but hey, it still might be worth something.
Okay.
But you can't think of any like friends, family members, anything that hey, we're gonna go see Bob and Sue or okay.
This isn't anything anyone can help with, but I wonder if anyone at your dad's or mom's work have also not been there.
Yeah, I was wondering about my dad specifically.
What does he do for work?
He's an accountant.
Okay. Yeah, I can try to get in touch with them as well, just to kind of see where they're at. Being Dane County, they have a lot more people than we do, and they probably have a lot of people working on this. I can almost guarantee it. Do you happen to have the number that you were talking to? Just I wanted to grab that just so I can call and let their detective know.
Yeah, great. 608.
Okay.
571.
Okay.
8756.
8756. Perfect. Yeah, I'll give them a call and kind of let them know where we're at up here.
I think we can cut it at this point.
And then yeah, we can certainly at least one of us take a drive through White Lake and see.
We stopped it at 4726, just for the record.
Very good.
Your Honor, I only have about 5 more minutes with this witness, but I see a lot of wiggles. I don't know if you wanted to perhaps do a break now.
Do you know how long the cross-examination might be?
Not long at all.
Let's go ahead and
Okay.
forge ahead. We're not quite to the 90-minute mark yet, at least in this room. I know you were in the hallway a little bit before, but we'll get this finished up.
I don't like that
So-
sound.
Long story short, Sergeant, there was no evidence of Mr. and Mrs. Halderson at the cabin up in White Lake.
Correct.
In the course of your assistance with Dane County, were you asked a couple questions about a parade that occurred over 4th of July weekend?
Yes, I was.
And I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 29. Could you please identify Exhibit 29?
Yeah, we
for
just
me?
watched 47 minutes of them traipsing.
Yes,
through
ma'am. This is
property
a
and
copy of
finding
an ad that
nothing.
was placed in the Anago Daily Journal by the Village of White Lake. This is advertising the annual White Lake 4th of July celebration.
And on that flyer, and you helped us actually get a copy of this. Is that fair?
Yes, it is.
And on that flyer, does it tell you a time and location of a parade that occurred over 4th of July weekend?
Yes, the parade was Saturday, July 3rd, 2021 at 2 p.m.
Not on July 4th.
Correct.
I would move to admit Exhibit 29 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received. It may be published.
No further questions.
And cross-examination, please.
Just briefly, this sign, it's a piece of paper that people would put up at bars and stores and things around town.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it, thank you.
Any redirect?
Just briefly, Sergeant, when you were asked to provide proof of when the parade was, did you actually contact any officials?
I did.
And they directed you back to this advertisement?
She did, yes.
Okay. Was it also advertised online?
Yes, it was.
Nothing further.
May this witness be excused and released from his subpoena.
Yes.
Detective Sergeant, thank you so much. I think we can get you back home by dinner. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our afternoon break. We'll resume at 3:15.
Man,
All rise for the jury.
court gets a lot of breaks, hey? They've taken more breaks than we have. What millimeter hook are you using and what weight yarn? This is just worsted weight, and this is a 6 millimeter. I like fat hooks. I like big fat hooks and needles.
Good afternoon again, everybody.
We'll listen
I'm
to what
James
Eggman
Langer,
has
Digital
to say.
Content Manager for Channel3000.com. As you just heard now, the jury is going to take a quick 15-minute break or so. They should be back by about 3:15 Central Time. I'm just going to hop on here and recap a bit of what we've heard so far. So
Yeah.
after that lunch break, prosecutors resumed their case, and the first person they called up was Chandler Halderson's brother, Mitchell. So it's the
Perhaps
first time we've really heard from
Quinn
one of
and
the
Eptar.
Halderson family members as well in this case. And Mitchell, kind of gave a description of what family life was like. You know, described his mom as a helicopter parent, but the type that would always reach out when they were doing something. So that's why he thought it was so unusual that Chandler had told him that they went up to
You guys
the
can yell
cabin
at me
in Land
when
Lake
I'm
County
not
without
holding
saying
my
anything.
project in the
he
right
testified
spot.
that no, that wouldn't have happened. She would have been the type of person to
By all means, please
give him a heads
do.
up if that's what their plans were. So he thought that was unusual as
I
well.
promise that I will build
He said he
the
wasn't that
habit
worried
of
at first,
crocheting
though,
further out.
just because it was the holiday
Hello,
weekend.
Chester.
They've gone up to the cabin
How are you?
every once in a while. But he did say once Chandler texted him that he was worried and that he was about to file a missing persons report, that's when he got to really
Six
get
is your
concerned
favorite?
about,
Yeah,
where
I
his
use my
parents
6
were.
a lot also.
So shortly after that, Chandler was actually arrested, and that's when Mitchell says he decided to drive up to the cabin in Lang Lake County, about 3 hours away, with his fiance. You saw the body cam footage of the deputies up there as they searched through the property. Mitchell said he took a lap around the property before deputies got there, then walked around with them, trying to see if anything looked out of place. And, you know, you saw there in that video, it looked like nobody had been there in quite some time. Vegetation all overgrown, the doors were all padlocked, all that. And we do know from the criminal complaint that authorities up there also talked to neighbors of that property, and they said they hadn't seen anybody up there recently either. So obviously that would contradict what Chandler Halderson told police about their whereabouts, and kind of contradict the fact that
Check out Pink Sheep Design.
Chandler
They make
says he
their
got a
own
text
hooks
from his
to
mom
sell, and they
saying
are
that they made it
big
up there
boys.
safely,
I am
when,
definitely
you know,
into that.
Mitchell and the
If anybody
authorities
could
up there
post a link, because I
couldn't find
can't like say,
anybody
oh,
or any sign of
nice.
life up there.
I can't
Also noteworthy there,
type
Mitchell,
and save
Mitchell
it for.
testified
Actually,
that,
nothing. Never mind.
life insurance policies. If both of his
I
parents
can
were to pass
search
away,
Google.
he and
Just
Chandler would
by-
be in line for about $1 million in life insurance payouts. So as of now, that hasn't been paid out. Obviously, they don't
Highlighting.
usually do that in circumstances like these until they can figure out what exactly happened and the cause of death. But prosecution seemed to imply there that that may have been a factor as well. Defense got a chance to cross-examine him and didn't really ask him too many questions, as kind of been the pattern so far today. You know, we've seen the prosecution take their time with these witnesses, show long videos, that kind of thing. But the defense usually just asking a few questions to clarify things, that type of thing. And they circled back to Mitchell saying he wasn't worried at first until Chandler texted him that he was worried about his parents' whereabouts. So after Mitchell testified, we just heard then from
I do
one
think
of
the defense is going
detectives
to
up in
try
Lang
to
Lake
pin
County.
it on
Like I
this
said,
very
they showed that
guilty
entire,
Quinn, very guilty brother.
body cam video of
This
them
obviously
walking around
bloodthirsty,
the property.
sweet baboo.
Unlike Dane County, deputies up there all have body cameras, so that was all recorded, and you kind of hear the
sticking out of the ground
conversations
was a
that
little weird.
Mitchell had with the authorities up there, sharing what he knew or didn't know at that time is probably more accurate. So that's kind of where things left off here. Lots of kind of longer testimony, especially that video. So the judge wanted to give everybody a break. So they said as of now they should be back in about 10 minutes or so. In the meantime, if you want to catch up on anything that you missed this morning, we have a recap of what was said
This
during
model is
opening,
so joyous.
opening statements this
I'm
morning.
loving their
both
stitch
the,
markers.
Prosecution and what they said they planned to prove, and the defense, what they had to say to start the case before witnesses started to be called. So you can
They
go to
do have some nice
channel3000.com/Halderson.
heckin'
That's
chonkers.
our page for this trial. You'll have that live stream there, so you don't have to keep your ear off of this. You can read around on that page while still listening in. That's
And look at their apparel now, too.
channel3000.com/Halderson. Also, if you are in the Dane
Very
County area,
cute.
of course,
Holy
we'll have
shit.
full recaps of this coming up on our newscast tonight at News
I
3
like-
Now Live
I
at
like
4,
this store.
at 5 and at 6. So be sure to tune in then. In the meantime, we're going to keep updating things over on channel3000.com. Please keep an eye on the comments. We'll drop links there when we post new stories. In the meantime, I'll sign off for now, but we will return shortly.
All right, guys. So I think that's going to do it for tonight. I think we're going to call it here. Yeah, let me get this paused here. We will be back tomorrow. I know that I say it every day that I want to be on earlier, but like life has been happening, what with like Kika getting sick, and then there was the whole yesterday, the lady with the car and stuff. I'm really sorry that I haven't been able to like get a hold of my shit and get everything done. But again, I am starting to try to do more avenues of content as well. So I do want to be building up like my YouTube content, my like scripted content and stuff. Everybody wave hello to Quinn Kenobi in chat. He's going to write us some fun scripts and ARG guides, and it's going to be a fun time. And I just recently made a video just sort of explaining my shift in content as well. So yeah, we will see what the future brings. Keep an eye out. I'm going to be, as soon as I hear back from the 2 people that I had to send message to on Patreon, I'll be relaunching my Patreon. And I will also be putting out YouTube content as regularly as I can, but expect it to be spotty until I can find an editor. Man, there was more that I wanted to talk to you about, and I don't remember what it is because I am a bad brain guy. What did you wave? You're funny. Stop it. Anyway, it's still going to be a while before the store is up. But when we do launch the store, I will do a giveaway of the stuff that I promised I would give away. There will be 3 items up for giveaway. No, it's 2. It's only 2 items. It's 2 items that are up for a giveaway. And then I will have other stuff that will be going up for sale. I would love to give it all away, but I also don't want to harm my fellow Fibercraft creators, and I also don't want to lose a shitload of money. Honestly, it's going to cost me a lot of money to send things, especially outside of Canada. But I will be back tomorrow. I'm aiming for going live at 7 o'clock my time, which is 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. It was really good to see all of you. The overwhelming support again today. I don't know how you guys do it. I would love it very much if in Twitch chat, you guys could all just tell me what your favorite number is. And that makes you active in chat so that you're part of a big raid. Big raids mean bigger community building. It means that we catch the eye of the content creator that we raid, and maybe they will raid us back, and we can grow our little community too. And that's all good stuff for at least me, if not for you guys as well. Getting more friends on our side would be amazing, right? For when we get called to trial for murdering our parents, it will be nice to have allies. Anyway, thank you all so much. I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night.